celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Wow, what a weird-looking sky for the first day of summer out there. It's windy without a storm. If you look north of the thruway, it's like very, very cloudy and dark. To the south, there are breaks of blue sky and sunshine and clouds, but a lot of wind. And we're going to get the wind for a little while here this morning, and then things will calm down. It'll be much cooler today. And even low 80s for the weekend. Really kind of looks like we might get a decent weekend, which is nice. Yesterday was really hot, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week are going to be really, really hot. So Joe Malachi is our guest host here this morning. Joseph, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Bill.
So tell everybody what it is you wear a lot of hats. Tell everybody what you do, and we'll be talking about the World Series of Bocce coming up here. But tell everybody what you do.
Well, in that role, I'm a trustee at the Tukulana Club, and I'm also on the World Series Committee. And we have our 51st annual World Series of Bocce coming up this in July, less than a month away.
And we'll be there for a broadcast to help kick it off. 51 years.
That's become an annual event for us, and we love having you there. And we can't wait for you guys to come out.
And beyond bocce, beyond botch.
Yeah, yes. Well, I'm an attorney. Been a practicing attorney since 1999. I worked as a defense attorney from 1999 to 2008, and then in 2008, I took a job as a part-time DA out in Madison County. So I do that as well as maintaining my private practice in Rome. And I've also served as the chairman of the zoning board in Rome, president of the school board in Rome, president of the Rome Federal Credit Union in Rome. So a lot of community involvement on my part in Rome. Love the city of Rome. Born and raised.
I thought of you this morning. Last night, I thought, Joe's in tomorrow. Of all days is when the story breaks on the mayor's, as in plural, mayor's situation. Of course, I won't drag you into that, but I will say, and actually there's not really much to talk about. Apparently, the security cameras, which apparently are really good, and showed a lot. Apparently, the DA in Herkimer County, who was working as a special prosecutor on the case, felt it was enough for a harassment charge. Interestingly, second degree. So I'll ask you some general questions,
okay?
If you're okay with that. So non-specific in regards to. I don't want to put you into any conflict. So this charge, second degree harassment, is a misdemeanor charge. No.
Violation.
It's a violation, not even a misdemeanor.
Not even a misdemeanor.
A violation. So in normal situations, if someone today especially I guess what I'm saying is the only reason we're probably talking about this case is because it involves a current and former mayor in Rome.
Right. Very minor.
Very minor. Yeah. Nobody's going to jail. This is.
Now, usually it's, sometimes it's even handled with what's called an adjournment and contemplation of dismissal, depending on the circumstances. But violation level offenses carry a maximum. They do carry a possible jail sentence of 15 days and a $250 fine.
Oh, so it could, but most likely not going to happen in this case.
And probably 95% of the cases involving harassment, it's usually some sort of disposition involving a fine or something like that. So.
And based on what I've been told on the in regards to the video, while I believe Brown is claiming that Mayor Lanigan pushed him and slammed him into the side of the car, I had somebody describe it as saying it's how you see police put someone in the car, and Lanigan's a former police officer. So I don't know that it is. Well, it clearly was not the way it was described in Lanigan's statement, where he gently helped him into the car. That probably is not the case. But
we don't know.
We don't know. That's a good point. We don't know. Although I kind of have spoken to someone who's seen the video. So based on their description of the video, that's not what it was. But again, none of us have seen the video as of yet.
No. And I'll just say this. Listen, and I thank you for not trying to inject me into this. And that's the last place I want to be. I know both gentlemen. They both love the city of Rome. They've both, in their own way, moved the city forward during their administrations. Jeff did a great job last year during the hurricane.
Yep. Tornado.
During the tornado.
Normally, it's you texting me.
Yes,
saying,
that's right.
You just called it a hurricane.
That's right. Sorry about that. Tornado. And the coordination that he did with the county executive was amazing. And
it was. It was something to be proud of.
Right, and he showed a lot of leadership there. And he's got, obviously he's at the forefront with the Giovanni plan coming in. And I was reading last week about this community court that he's helping to establish to try to deal with, the vagrancy and how trying to get to the root cause of why people are coming to court. So there's a lot of positive things that he's done, and Mayor Brown as well. During his administration, he had a vision for the city to help clean it and bring it forward with businesses and attracting businesses. So both of them have been really great positive forces for the city of Rome. So I hope that we can just focus on those things and get past some of this stuff here.
I completely agree, and I think that's the way everyone is. These are unfortunate distractions, probably more than anything else. However, the other part of our story is that Brown, former Mayor Brown, has hired Frank Policelli as his attorney, and the question would be why. Obviously, this is a case that goes to court, and by the way, it went back to Rome City Court, and then was, because of an obvious conflict, was moved to Oswego City Court. So why would Policelli need to be involved? And that is unless there's a potential civil case, and that will be interesting to watch as this whole process plays out. So there's really not much more. We have a full story up on our website at WIBX950.com, where you can check that out, and we'll see where it goes. I did ask Policelli to come on today, and he declined. A lot of declines, Davey, lately. A lot of people say, no, I'd rather not get into it right now. We will, however. I don't know what that
says about me. I accept it.
You did accept, and I appreciate that. We will speak with Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel coming up in a few minutes on this really abnormal weather. And today we'll be in the low 70s today, so a complete change from yesterday. Also this morning we'll speak with Willie Waffle in a few minutes. County Executive Anthony Pacini is on. Assemblyman Brian Miller. We'll get to Brian in a little while. Ben the Farmer, and the list goes on. I got a whole bunch to get to here today, including one of our favorites, Jaws, celebrating its 50th anniversary. Jaws not being our favorite, but Tanya J. Powers is. And Tanya from Fox News Radio on the line right now. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning.
So it's funny because Davey this morning said, can you believe Jaws is 50 years old? And I was thinking, can you believe Jaws is only 50? I thought it was older than that. So I guess it's all perspective, right?
It is. It sometimes it gets you that way. But yeah, Jaws turns 50. By the way, it's going to be back in theaters on the 29th of August, I believe.
I almost feel like that would be I never got to see Jaws in the theater. I was too young for that. So I think that'd be a cool. I'm assuming they digitize a little bit, or is it the original film, period?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure if they've gone back and redone any of it, but I did see it in the theater, and I was a little kid, and I was terrified of sharks after that. But it was, it's one of those things that really, you didn't leave the theater and go like, okay, well, that was pretty good. I mean, it really got your attention. especially if you were living anywhere. I've spent my entire youth growing up and most of my adult life landlocked for hundreds of miles. So there was no danger of me going near an ocean without purposely meaning to. And it still just was like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I got to tell you, lately, with drones, and seeing some of these videos, there's this little girl, the story that was on the national news last night, where her hand was almost bitten off by a shark, and they've reattached the hand. And then watching another video of these people swimming in shallow water, and there's a shark that was spooked I mean, the sharks will come into very shallow water and bite. But you know where they don't come? Is at the bar next to the beach, or on the beach. Those are places where you'll be safe. So
they don't show up at the yarn store either. So I spend a lot of time.
That's good.
Trying to make sure that I'm safe that way. Yeah,
that helps. This is a 50th anniversary. Remember what they did with Star Wars? Is they went back in and they maybe updated a few scenes with some more current technology, and again, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything like that with the showing coming up in August.
Yeah, I think it runs for I think they're going to put it back in the theaters for a week. So right around Labor Day is when that whole maybe long weekend. That's when it's supposed to go back into theaters, and I will definitely go back and see it again in the theater. It like I said, it's an iconic movie. If you didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, go see it.
And I do think that without Jaws, we would never have "There's a shark in the bay." It was such a classic line from the movie, and of course that music that spooks you every time you hear it. Really, quite incredible. So,
I mean, it put Steven Spielberg on the map as a director, and it also, I honestly believe, if they had not had John Williams' score underneath that movie, it would have turned out completely different. And I don't know if we'd still be talking about it 5 decades later, honestly. It played the role of the shark, honestly, and it's iconic.
It really, really is. It's amazing what the perfect music can do with video. So, all right, interesting stuff. Yeah. Tanya J. Powers, enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Thanks so much. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Quick update on the news, 6:35 at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan has been charged with harassment following an exchange with former Mayor Jim Brown. Brown claims Lanigan became physical with him following an argument, while Lanigan alleges Brown was drunk and was escorted to his car, and no physical altercation happened. The public has not seen the surveillance video allegedly depicting their interaction. Brown did sustain an injury to his arm that was treated at a hospital. Lanigan was charged with harassment after an Oswego County judge signed the criminal summons, of which Lanigan was served by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. It is unknown if this will proceed to trial. If convicted, Lanigan would still be able to serve as mayor. A new coronavirus variant that causes a severe sore throat is now believed to make up more than a third of COVID cases in the U.S. right now. The highly contagious variant, called Nimbus, has a symptom that is being referred to as razor blade throat because it feels like swallowing razor blades. The CDC says it makes up about 37% of cases nationwide and recently caused coronavirus surges in China and other parts of Asia. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Today is the first day of summer. The summer solstice falls on June 20th in the U.S. and on the 21st in Europe. That's when the Earth achieves its maximum tilt toward the sun, making it the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere and kicking off the official start of summer. The closer you get to the North Pole, the more sunlight you'll get in the evening hours. Residents in Fairbanks, Alaska, for instance, will see nearly 22 hours of daylight today. In the Southern Hemisphere, meanwhile, today marks the winter solstice, making it the shortest day of the year. And folks who love Polish food and culture will want to check out an event that's starting today. The 2025 Syracuse Polish Festival runs through Sunday at Clinton Square, and there will be a wide variety of things to eat and drink like kielbasa, pierogies, plus Polish beer. This event benefits the Polish Scholarship Fund, which gives out scholarships of $1,000 to high school seniors and college students of Polish descent. There's no cost to attend the festival. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Front going through, things settling down, but still we may see a couple of showers, thunder showers here today and into the beginning of the weekend. Heat coming early next week. An isolated shower thunderstorm today, otherwise sun and clouds, 75 and a little bit breezy. Tonight, maybe a shower thunder shower, 60. Tomorrow, just some isolated showers, thunderstorms, 85. Close to 90 Sunday, well into the 90s Monday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Currently, windy, cloudy, some peaks of sunshine depending on where you are, and we're at a rather chilly 58 degrees. Compared to what we were dealing with yesterday, right? Just something. All right, Davey, what do you? Okay, I wanted to ask you about cornhole. Once again, we are at the top of the sports world, tongue in cheek, with ESPN2 covering live from the Nexus Center in Utica, the cornhole tournament going on this weekend.
It's the American Cornhole League Championship. It's on CBS.
It's the Cornhole, not Cornhill.
Cornhole.
The American Cornhill Championship is a little different. That's
Cornhole.
I don't have a line. Yeah, Cornhole Championship. So grab your phones. I know you got some phone lines ringing there. Joe Malachi, listen, I feel like we're talking about something very obvious here. Where is Bocce on ESPN2?
That is a fantastic question, though,
yeah,
honestly.
Because it should be. I really think it should be.
I mean, during COVID, they had some of the most bizarre things on ESPN, lawnmower racing.
Yes.
They had people trying to go up an ice hill, first to the top. Just crazy stuff, right?
But no bocce.
No bocce. I mean, in bocce, I mean, if you come to watch a bocce match or a bocce event, there are so many compelling things that come up just over the course of a game.
Yeah.
Whether it's the game itself, whether it's arguments between team members over how to approach a certain situation. It's just very compelling and dramatic, whereas, I don't know, it just seems kind of vanilla.
You're throwing the little beanbag and it falls into the hole.
Right. I mean, what's compelling about that? I don't understand the strategy there, really.
I do have Mike this morning saying, I'm actually thinking about stopping by to watch the Cornhole tournament at Nexus. I see ESPN2 is covering it. I'm not going there for the cornhole. I'm going to see if Stefan is there. And I'll bet he is.
Oh, yeah.
He is on the line right now, Stefan. Good morning. Have you been to the Cornhole tournament yet?
No, I haven't, but my friend Joe is a big Braves fan, and we have a standing bet that if the Braves win and beat the Mets, I owe Joe a fish fry.
Oh, well, I'm afraid you need a fish fry.
Yeah.
You're going to need one. The Mets really in a funk right now. As are the Yankees.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here? I feel the Mets have been spooked since Senga was injured, and even Pete Alonso was really bothered because his thing is that he tossed the ball to Senga. So it was your classic first baseman comes off first base, gets the ball, makes the stop. The pitcher covers first base. The toss to first base. It was a little high. Senga then reached up for it and pulled the hamstring. And I really think Alonso was really, really bothered by that. And since then, they lose that game, and then everything has been terrible since. So and this weekend, Stefan, doesn't look that much better. They're having a big pitching problem. You're going to see some pitchers you've never heard of unless you've been in Syracuse watching the Mets in Syracuse. So it's going to be quite a weekend.
Yeah, and I'm I owe Joe 43 fish fries as of today.
43. Okay.
Stephen, you're going to have to open up your own fish fry restaurant.
I have to. Well, the good news is you can always get a fish fry in Utica. So, and in Rome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. All right, Stephen, have a great day. And remember, you don't have to travel for fun. You can go to the Nexus Center and watch the cornhole. You can even watch it on ESPN, too.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I haven't seen too much of cornhole tournaments.
Yeah, nor have I. All right, we'll see what happens. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, Bill.
Let me go to Ray Stajic, meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel. Ray, good morning.
Hey, Bill. Sorry about that. A little late. I feel bad for the young lady that I just woke up dialing the wrong number.
Oh, that's great. I love it. So, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It was an honest mistake. So,
it was.
Listen, first of all, the weather right now as we speak, we've gone from, 87, 85 yesterday. It was warm and extremely humid to windy. The clouds are moving really, really quickly in the sky. It looks to the north of the thruway. It looks like it's raining. To the south, the sun is peeking through some ominous clouds. This is a unique start to summer after such a terrible spring.
Yeah, and summer starts tonight, 10:42, so it's kind of a partial day. I don't know why, Bill, but I'm so particular about that. I always say, like, tomorrow is the first full day of summer. They're mean, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, summer actually comes in tonight, so it's all semantics, I guess. But yes, front came through, some severe weather. It wasn't terrible. I saw down at Dutchess County in Hudson Valley, there's like one tree down. I don't know if that means it was bad. So it was worse southeast of us, down across the Catskills and into the Poconos. Had a couple of bigger storms, but as you said, the low's pulling away, the front's through. It's cold front, and there are still a few sprinkles as you get up into the Adirondacks around Watertown, Old Forge, and trying to get into Oneida County this morning, but that'll pull away. And I don't know, I think really the headline should be here. The heat is coming. If you haven't heard, oh my goodness, if you haven't heard, you hadn't been on the interwebs, wherever you have been, everybody talking about the heat dome and the Bermuda High and how hot it's going to get. It gets hot in the summer, kids. Let's remember.
Yeah, I mean,
records.
And I got to say the complaints already kind of kicking in. With people saying it's too humid, it's too hot. I mean, what are you talking about? God.
Don't they remember the snowdrifts? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, we had such a horrible winter. We were begging for this weather, and now it's here. So, but it is interesting, the extremes. I mean, isn't that's the uniqueness of this? Would you say?
Yeah, honestly, being from the Hudson Valley myself, talking to the family, for lack of a better word, it's been kind of crappy so far.
Yeah,
I mean, so everybody kind of wondering, they want to use the pool, they want to get in the lakes, they want to go on the boat, they want to do whatever. Haven't had many weekends for that or many days, but it's coming. I think we're going to start it near 90 Sunday. The humidity is going to go up. I mean, it is going to be, yucky out there. I mean, Harry can wear it, right? You walk outside and it sticks to you. Then Monday, Tuesday, we peak the heat, mid-90s. We could have temperatures right around 95, but, you put that aside, right? And over the last, 10, 15 years, it's become more about heat index or the feels like temperature when you factor in the humidity with the dew points up. So it's probably going to feel like 100 to 105. And, since you brought it up, Bill, winter,
yes.
I'm going to make the comparison from wind chill, which is when you have exposed skin and the wind's blowing when it's cold, it pulls heat away from your body. The opposite is with humidity. And when we talk about the heat index, so humidity is actually, invisible moisture in the atmosphere where what it does is that it holds the heat closer to your body, so it doesn't allow your body to cool. So it's like a sensation that makes you feel even more uncomfortable than the actual air temperature. So we've got that coming. It's not going to be this prolonged multi-week kind of event. I think we go 90, 95, 95. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, heat index 100 plus. And then we'll get a break as we look ahead toward Wednesday, Thursday. And we'll cool off with some showers, thunder showers with the front coming through. So, prep now. If you haven't tuned up the AC yet, I'd do that. and know what your plan of action is going to be. You're going to hear a bunch about it. When you get into the heat, it's, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing or plenty of fluids, preferably water.
Oh, and make sure, Ray, you take care of your elderly pets.
Yes.
It is. I mean, it's. I almost think that we in the broadcasting world, not the weather world, not the meteorologist world, but in the broadcast world, we forget that people, for the most part, have been through this a few times and probably know how to handle things. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Although this winter was a rude awakening of the memories of some great winters.
Winter past.
Yes, winters past.
Took us back about 40 years or so.
Great stuff, Ray. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we're glad that it's almost like the switch has turned. Summertime, and we're going to warmth. Thanks so much. All right.
Yep.
Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel. Willie Waffle coming up in a second. By the way, I didn't get into it with him, but there is a picture of what is believed to be a funnel cloud over Rome from yesterday, and it does look that way. Sometimes, though, the clouds will form, and it looks like it's something, but it's really just the way and I'm not saying that's the case on this. This may very well be a funnel cloud. It certainly looks like one. But it never turned into anything. I had a little, it looked like, it was sun. It was really a nice day yesterday. And then all of a sudden the clouds came in, the wind, it looks like it was going to rain. We got some sprinkles, and then it blew right over. Yeah. Overnight, however, we got some rain. But I imagine, like any time with these thunderstorms, it can be very, very localized. And you got to be careful.
It would have been interesting to ask Ray why it seems like these things are becoming more the trend.
And
recently,
more extreme. The extremes are becoming more. Yeah. We'll save that for next time. 6:48. Willie coming right up at WIBX.
Why do people shop at Mattress Express? Our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, will beat the price. If within 90 days of purchase you see it advertised for less locally, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Your life and your loved ones' lives depends on what you've done to prepare. Disasters, shortages, supply chain failures, they're not ifs, they're wins. Don't be left without life-saving medication. The Jace case is a prescribed set of emergency antibiotics, life-saving medications you have on hand before you need them, offering peace of mind, no panicking, fast, affordable, and could save your life. Go to jase.com. Use code RADIO for a discount, because once the shelves are empty, it's already too late.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
And portions of the program brought to you by Daylight Donuts, the official coffee of the Keeler, the morning radio program. If you're looking for that iced coffee, or maybe this morning it needs to be warm because we're back down to in the 50s. But Daylight Donuts, a speedy drive-through. You're in, you're out, and you are on the way. Willie Waffle on the lines right now. Willie, good morning.
Well, good morning, and a great weekend to start staying inside and in the air-conditioned movie theater, baby. That's the message I got a few minutes ago.
Well, I got to tell you, you're right. I mean, we've got some real hot weather that is coming. Some hot weather. By the way, 50th anniversary of Jaws. I didn't realize that, but it is. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people, who are listening, grew up with the fact that there were big blockbusters in the summer, and the fact is, excuse me, Jaws is what started that.
Right,
right. You didn't have the big summer blockbuster until Jaws came out and Steven Spielberg came around and really changed movies in so many ways that I don't think a lot of people now, who didn't live through it, appreciate.
I think you're right. And now, here we are post-COVID, right? Now you're like, you don't see as much as you used to see in terms of the big blockbusters. And so did you see the trailer featuring Jeremy Allen White, who the head of makeup was actually has ties to the area. She was in studio talking about how she does the makeup and changes his tattoos and all that on the series The Bear. And did you see that he's playing Springsteen in the movie that's coming out in the fall? He sounds really good and he looks good for this part.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this. I'm a huge Springsteen fan, and the movie is called Deliver Me from Nowhere. It is the story of Bruce Springsteen struggling with becoming a big, massive rock star, and in many ways rebelling, and in making his album Nebraska, which, as people know, is about the most anti-rock and roll record you will ever hear. But it's still really amazing and beautiful, and so it's that battle that he has with the record company, the battle he has, to make it come out, and just finding himself and figuring out who he is as his stardom is skyrocketing, and I think it could be really interesting.
It will be, and it's very interesting too that Springsteen was very much like Dylan. The fans wanted him to do certain things, and he didn't want to do that. And didn't care. And Springsteen really very similar. I mean, I can tell you, I know people who would come from a Dylan concert and say, I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he played all Christian music, the whole show. He didn't play any of his hits. Or Springsteen, I remember hearing people say it was all the stuff from Nebraska, and it was, it just wasn't Springsteen. So it is interesting how they knew their path, and that's what they did. I like that.
I think it's pretty cool, and then I think you're going to see a lot of the legend of Bruce Springsteen living in New Jersey and the places that he haunts in this movie. I be really, really cool. I'm interested.
And that'll be in the fall.
And the Bear is out next week.
And
so
the Bear is out.
To be excited about too.
That is such a great series. If you've not started that yet, when it is 95 and you want to stay inside because you do have air conditioning, watch this series from the beginning. It is so good. It's on Hulu, I believe.
It's on Hulu. Yeah. So I want to say it's either Wednesday or Thursday next week. The fourth season appears.
Okay. I love it. All right. In theaters, what do you have this weekend?
I think there's a little bit for everybody. I mean, I think there's Elio, which is kind of the big family movie. This is the animated film from Disney. This is the weekend that Disney always drops their big summer animated film. Okay, and this year is no exception. And this is kind of a charming little fun movie about this young boy who's obsessed with space and with aliens, and he wants to be abducted by aliens because he just doesn't fit in on Earth. Well, he accidentally sends a message out to space, and the aliens hear it, and they believe he may actually be the leader of Earth. So they've taken him to try to solve a big intergalactic problem that he's in way over his head. And it's a story that's got a lot of action in it. It's got a lot of silliness in it. It's a story about family. He's a little kid who's lost his mother and his father, and he's living with his aunt who's trying her best to raise him. And it's about finding a friend and finding your place in the universe. I think that it has a lot of goofy kid behavior. It's got some sweet moments. It's got kind of a simple plot, but overall, I'm at 3 waffles. I think you've got an enjoyable movie here.
Right.
A kid you can root for.
28 years later, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so this is the sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. If you remember those movies, they all came out a long time ago. I mean, 28 Days Later came out about 25 years ago or so.
Think about that.
And so this is the story of a zombie virus which has gotten loose in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom now at this point has been quarantined from the rest of the world. Basically, the rest of the world said you're on your own. And so we see how the entire country has been set back. I mean, it's been overrun by these zombies. There's this small little group of survivors that's living on a little island that is detached from the mainland, except for a causeway that only appears when the low tide is happening. And we watch this young boy, this Alfie Williams, learning how to go onto the mainland from his father, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who a lot of people were talking was going to be the next James Bond until Amazon bought James Bond. And so he's learning about going off and dealing with these zombies, getting the supplies the town needs. But he hears rumors and stories that there may be a doctor on the mainland who's still alive, and he wants to get the doctor to help his mother. And now he's off on a wild odyssey. And I think it's a movie where the first half is I mean, it's not as good. They need to establish everything, and they need to explain what's going on. I get that, but it's the second half where the movie really starts to pick up. We get a lot more emotions. We get a lot more intrigue. We get more looks at the zombies as these wild, crazy animals. I'm at 3 waffles for this.
Okay, wow.
And be aware, there's going to be 2 more sequels. One is already, I think, kind of done. I think we might be seeing it in January, and then there's a third one after that that they'll be working on.
Okay, and then in 20 seconds, Bride Hard in theaters. Rebel Wilson is in this.
Yeah. Oh God, this is so bad.
Okay.
I mean, this is Bridesmaid meets Die Hard.
That's
with
what I figured.
Rebel Wilson trying to be an action star, and she's not.
Okay, I love it. Bad. Stay away. Half a waffle.
Horrifying.
And then finally, I look at the calendar. Every year, I'll look at the calendar and be surprised. I don't know why. The same stuff rolls around every single year, and I'm like, holy crap! Next week it's 4th of July. And then Joey Chestnut comes in the news. Quickly on this, he's back, apparently, right?
That's right. After a big controversy between Joey Chestnut and Major League Eating, he is back at the July 4th Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest this year. He's won every year since 2015, except last year when he was banned. And he's been the winner 16 times over the years. The man's coming with a vengeance. I think he might eat 100 hot dogs.
Someday his stomach...
He might just do it.
His stomach's just going to explode. All right.
It's insane.
Willie, stay cool this weekend. Thanks. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Willie Waffle News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Another missile from Iran gets through Israel's Iron Dome defense. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Those are the fire trucks rushing to the scene to battle the flames in an industrial area that was hit.
There were no reports of injuries. Again, Beersheba is the same town where yesterday a missile hit the Soroka Hospital, resulting in dozens of minor injuries, some of them serious.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv as Israeli warplanes keep targeting Iran's nuclear and missile facilities.
The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency tells me in an exclusive interview, Iran does have enough uranium for several nuclear bombs, and the regime is just a quick step away from enriching to weapons-grade uranium. However, he said he saw no plans for Iran to take that step. And he believes even at this stage, diplomacy is the path to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon.
President Trump says he'll decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. will help Israel take out Iran's nuclear program. A second flight of Americans stuck in Israel during this Iran conflict landed in Florida this morning, chartered by Governor Ron DeSantis, who says it hasn't been easy.
Given that the airport's totally shut down, given that the neighboring areas aren't exactly easy to navigate.
The National Guard troops President Trump deployed to Los Angeles to deal with the protest against his illegal immigration raids can stay there. A federal appeals court upheld his authority, and the president hailed the ruling on Truth Social late last night.
Big win on the president's core power to call in the National Guard. If our cities and our people need protection, we are the ones to give it to them. Should state and local police be unable for whatever reason to get the job done. And Governor Newsom had this to say, quote, "The president is not a king and is not above the law. We will press forward with our challenge to President Trump's authoritarian use of U.S. military soldiers against citizens."
Fox's Chanley Painter. Millions of Americans will be hot today. There are heat warnings or advisories. Colorado to Louisiana up to New Jersey with triple-digit temperatures forecast in some areas. America's listening to Fox News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
We mentioned the flights of Americans getting out of Israel amid the conflict with Iran. Another American returned with a lot of fanfare. Adon Alexander, who was kidnapped by Hamas in the 2023 terror attack in Israel, then held hostage in Gaza.
Residents gathered in downtown Tenafly, New Jersey to celebrate Adon Alexander's return home following his release last month. Alexander's hometown rabbi, Mordecai Shane, said he knows people will want to hear about Alexander's ordeal, but Shane believes Alexander will want to put this behind him for a while.
That he could just be back his normal life as before.
Still, Alexander is an inspiration to many who want to follow in his footsteps of service.
It was an exact division that I'm going into, that I want to go into, and he really inspired me to keep wanting to go.
For now, they just rejoice that Alexander is safe and home. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
On Wall Street, coming off the Juneteenth holiday, stock futures have been down modestly. The NBA Finals are not over yet.
The magic carpet ride for the Pacers is not over. They'll play for an NBA title on Sunday night in Game 7.
Sound courtesy of ABC as the Pacers dominated the Thunder 108-91 Thursday night to even the series at 3 games apiece. Indiana threw a haymaker in the first half to put the game away. After missing their first 8 shots of the game, the Pacers went on a tear, heading into halftime with a 22-point lead after outscoring the Thunder 36-17 in the second quarter. Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton played despite dealing with a strained calf and finished the game with 14 points and 5 assists. There have been 19 Game 7s played in the NBA Finals, the last coming in 2016 when the Cavaliers beat the Warriors. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
In baseball, the New York Mets lost their 6th straight game, while the Philadelphia Phillies won. So they're tied for first place now in the National League Eastern Division, and the Mets and Phillies play a series starting tonight. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. Right now, 59 and cloudy. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. New York State Police are investigating a fatal crash in Herkimer County. The accident was reported Wednesday afternoon on West German Street in Herkimer. Police say a passenger vehicle was driving south when their car left the roadway and struck a tree. The operator, identified as 43-year-old James Kowalczyk of Herkimer, was the car's sole occupant. Kowalczyk was taken to Wynn Hospital where he later died of his injuries. Police say they are looking into what caused the crash and will release more information when it becomes available. A Rome man was arrested for allegedly fighting with his partner in front of a child. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies were called to a Rome residence on Tuesday for reports of a domestic incident that happened the previous day. Deputies determined 34-year-old Cameron Shepard had become violent with his partner when a child was present, and they arrested him. He was charged with criminal obstruction of breathing and blood circulation, second-degree harassment, and endangering the welfare of a child. Shepard was arraigned at Oneida County Correctional Facility and was released on his own recognizance. New Yorkers are being warned about dangerous heat right at the start of the summer season. Forecasters say the real field temperature will be in the high 90s starting over the weekend due to expected high humidity. Then most of the state will see high heat and humidity that could feel like temperatures of over 100 degrees, especially on Monday and Tuesday, and that could persist into next week. Governor Kathy Hochul is urging New Yorkers to try to stay indoors, stay hydrated, and check on neighbors. Voters can expect extreme heat for primary election day next Tuesday, so officials are urging caution. The deadline to renew Medicaid benefits is approaching. A renewal process hasn't occurred since the global COVID-19 shutdown. That's prompted state health officials to remind parents about the critical deadline set for June 30th. And CVS Caremark is facing a class action lawsuit over alleged political text messages to Louisiana residents. Texts sent last week urged people to oppose a bill being considered by state lawmakers, which aims to regulate pharmacy benefit managers. CVS Caremark is a pharmacy benefit manager, and it's owned by CVS Health Corporation. CVS customers report being texted that CVS locations in Louisiana would have to close after House Bill 258 passed. The lawsuit claims this was a use of confidential patient information in violation of patient privacy laws. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Front going through, things settling down, but still we may see a couple of showers, thunder showers here today and into the beginning of the weekend. Heat coming early next week. An isolated shower thunderstorm today, otherwise sun and clouds, 75 and a little bit breezy. Tonight, maybe a shower, thunder shower, 60. Tomorrow, just some isolated showers, thunderstorms, 85. Close to 90 Sunday, well into the 90s Monday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Right now, 59 degrees under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. There will be a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers took down the Oklahoma City Thunder 108-91 in a win or go home in Game 6. Obi Toppin came up big with a team-high 20 points off the bench to help the Pacers force a Game 7. The Thunder hosting the Pacers in a winner-take-all Game 7 on Sunday. Sunday's matchup will be the first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016. The home team is 15-4 all-time in Game 7s of the Finals. A veteran linebacker is officially calling it a career. Former Ravens and Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley announced his retirement via social media on Thursday. The 33-year-old has been a free agent after being released by the Jets at the start of the league year in March. Mosley was selected by Baltimore with the 17th overall pick in 2014. He agreed to a 5-year, $85 million contract with the Jets in 2019. The man who served as captain of the Syracuse Crunch is deciding to call it a career. Gabriel Dumont is retiring after a professional hockey career that lasted 16 seasons and included 912 regular seasons and playoff games. Dumont had 2 stints as Syracuse captain from 2018 to 2019 and then again 2021 until this year. He was originally selected by the Montreal Canadiens in the 2009 NHL draft and was twice named a member of the AHL All-Star team. The Yankees, they managed to do it. They salvaged their series finale against the Angels, earning a 7-3 victory. Trent Grisham and Paul Goldschmidt slugged back-to-back homers as the Pinstripes snapped their 6-game skid. New York still leads the AL East, and they host the Baltimore Orioles for a 3-game set that begins tonight. The Mets, unfortunately, they didn't have the same luck. They were topped by the Braves 7-1 in their series finale. Clay Holmes, shocker, suffered his 4th loss of the season after allowing 3 runs on 4 hits and 6 walks. New York has dropped 6 in a row. They visit the Phillies for a 3-game set beginning tonight. The Buffalo Sabres announced their annual development camp will start later this month. The camp will begin June 30th and run through July 3rd. The NHL draft begins June 27th and will wrap on the 28th. The Sabres draft headquarters will be at the Bills HQ in Orchard Park. Their first pick will be 9. A pair of players are set atop the leaderboard after the The opening round of the Travelers Championship in Connecticut at TPC River Highlands, Scotty Scheffler and Austin Eckroat both shot an 8-under 62 in the first round. Wyndham Clark, Rory McIlroy, and Keegan Bradley are in a three-way tie for third at 6 under par. Danielle Berger and Sam Stevens will be among the first pair of players teeing off round 2 from Cromwell. And the NASCAR Cup Series is heading to one of the hottest vacation spots this Sunday. The field battles at Pocono Raceway for the Great American Getaway 400. Shane Van Gisbergen is hoping to build on his Viva Mexico victory last weekend as he sits 30th in the standings. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Danny Hamlin make up the top 5. Your WIBX news time is 7:11. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Listen, and Sarah's Flooring Outlet has a hardwood blowout with a ton of savings. You can get up to 50% off on hardwoods. Beautiful new hardwood floors may be perfect for your home. And then the installation, knowing that you can get it installed by craftsmen. That's how I describe it. Hallmark Alta Vista oak hardwood, just $3.25 a square foot. Mohawk Radiant oak hardwood, $3 a square foot. And incomparable beauty of white oak hardwood at 50% off, only $2.75 a square foot. You're going to get the best prices because it's the largest inventory. And you know, on Pergo Extreme, you have the 60-mile radius price guarantee. You're always getting the best price from Insera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and InserasFlooringOutlet.com. And portions of the program today brought to you by River Hills Properties. You know, they've expanded now into the Gulf Coast of Florida, some of the most beautiful places in the country, Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island. If you're looking to possibly enjoy a little snowbird, at this becoming a snowbird at this portion of your life, River Hills can help with your home here because they have offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, Utica, Copenhagen, Newport, and now the amazing Gulf Coast of Florida and Sarasota. It's River Hills Properties, never using the lockbox. You get the same service down there as you get up here. And Bill and Robin Monjo are at your service. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Call 315-896-1009. Coming up, we'll speak with County Executive Anthony Pacini, his reaction to Dan Foss and some other issues that are going on. We'll get to all of it coming up at WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Wait, I only owe $8? There has to be a catch.
I'm Jen Kita, CEO of Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating. That was a real reaction from a recent customer who got $3,000 worth of insulation upgrades through the New York State Comfort Home Program for just $8. And there's no catch. At Standard, we find the best solutions for your home, every possible rebate, and make it fast, simple, and easy. Many rebates aren't income-based. They're based on what your home needs. Start with your free home assessment at standardco.com.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, if you have ugly,
yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
At Wheelock Disposal Service, we're not just in the garbage business. We're in the people business.
Hi, I've been a Wheelock Disposal customer for over 10 years, and that says a lot. I wouldn't trust anyone else. They're always on time and polite when picking up my weekly trash and recycling. And whenever I need a dumpster or a special pickup, the office staff makes it quick and easy. I couldn't be happier with Wheelock Disposal.
As a family-owned company serving Herkimer and Oneida counties, we take pride in keeping our neighborhoods clean, safe, and welcoming. Whether you're cleaning out the garage, renovating your home, or tackling a big project, our team is ready with the right dumpster, a helping hand, and a smile. We even pick up the stray trash others leave behind. We wave to your kids. We honk the horn. Why? Because we're your neighbors. Call 315-822-3427 or visit wheelockdisposal.com to join the Wheelock family today. Wheelock Disposal Service. We love garbage, and we love our community even more.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You know, Mr. Executive Producer, I'm just saying, Davey, come on, man. You're an award-winning executive producer. You know, Davey, big award.
I heard.
Yeah?
That's amazing.
Big award.
Congratulations.
Big award.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe Malachi in here this morning, and he is our guest host, and we are already talking about broadcasting from the World Series of Bocce. Bocce, if you will. And that's coming. The date's
July 17th through the 20th.
17th through the 20th.
Opening ceremonies on Thursday.
So it always works out with just before I go on vacation. And I think that's going to be the case this year too. So
it's a great way to kick it off.
It's a great way to kick it off, and we'll be there broadcasting live for that. Julie, this morning, I have a few comments I'll get to. Jaws. It was a prolific film. Composer John Williams' first Grammy win for a film score. Just 2 notes created such tension. Think about that. Those 2 notes in Jaws that created such tension. He went on to win Grammys. Yeah, crazy. He went on to win Grammys for Star Wars, Close Encounters, Superman, Raiders, E.T., etc., etc. In addition to Oscars, etc., greatest composer of our time.
Easily.
And I would say easily.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
How many great... I mean, the movies would just not be the same without his music.
And for somebody who edits... I edit video. And I will tell you that if you're an audio person, which obviously I've been in radio for a few years, and audio plays a little bit of a role, the audio changes everything.
It does.
And when you have somebody composing it adds the tension to the movie. Without those 2 sounds, right. Think about it. The movie wouldn't be the same.
No, not even close. And when I was a kid, I had the luck of going to Boston on July 4th, and he actually conducted the pops there, and he synchronized the playing to the fireworks.
That's cool.
And that was something back in the early '80s.
You didn't see often.
No, and he did it every summer, July 4th, and boy, what a show! And it just heightened the experience so much more. Amazing man.
Mike this morning. Oh no, sharks can come on land. Remember the classic SNL sketch? We were talking about that with the shark knocking on the door of John Belushi trying to get in so he could bite him. I think it came out shortly after the Jaws movie. And that's, yeah. And Mike also asking, and maybe you can answer this, Joe, do I have to wear a gold chain if I go to the World Series of Bocce? That's stereotype right there.
You know what? But you will see a lot of gold chains.
So that's a fair stereotype is what you're saying?
It is fair.
All right, what else do I have in terms of you're looking for Tony. Is there a confusion between 740 and 720, Davey, or
he couldn't do 740 because he wanted to call in at 715, so I told Phil 715. He said yes.
Do you have a phone number to reach out to him? Why don't you do that?
To who, Tony?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
All right, why don't you do that?
Okay.
All right. That's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
You like it? I like it. Let's do it.
I see there was another comment in here with the temperatures coming up, and I this is personal to me because my son is a postal worker, so just remember them on Monday and Tuesday, and maybe set out some cold water.
It's really a good idea, and a lot of people do this. Put a little cooler there and say, take one. And then I always put video on it to see who's taking two. It is a great. You should think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you don't necessarily think about, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I got to tell you, Manansky, who is who does FedEx and will be in here on Monday morning. Jeff was complaining earlier in the week, saying when this heat hits, and I mean, I'm looking at temperatures. It's just so crazy with the extremes, the weather that we have had. I'm looking at tomorrow and rain every day, right? But for the most part, we may get some storms, but for the most part, we're looking at sunshine.
I hope so because my son's graduation party is on Saturday.
Okay,
so,
congratulations on
Thank you.
On that.
Right.
So we'll get some rain today, mainly in the morning with sun later in the day. But tomorrow, sun in 83, 88 Sunday, 94 Monday, 93 Tuesday, 88 Wednesday, before things break a little bit with some rain on Thursday, and we go into the upper 70s to low 80s. So it's almost as if the switch has just switched on tonight at 10:40, whatever it is, summer solstice. All of a sudden, it's summertime.
And it's never anything gradual, right?
It's
either
not gradual
one
anymore.
extreme or the other. It's
it
just
is
0
crazy.
to 60 in 2 seconds.
You know who I blame is Tony Pacini. I believe he's to blame for the weather. It's all of these solar panels, I believe, causing the problem. We were talking about that earlier. Here he is, County Executive Anthony Pacini.
So good morning, and I will, I'll take the blame for a lot of stuff.
But not the weather.
Not the weather.
It is, this is a real this is a real thing. I've heard there was someone that was claiming that the windmills were the reason for the increase in tornadoes, including what hit Rome. I'm like, okay, I've never really heard that before. But the one I'm hearing more often now is the solar panels. Something about the heat radiating back up. Have you heard the solar panel conspiracy?
I really haven't. I mean, maybe I missed it somewhere along the line.
Well, you have now.
I know there's all those conspiracies out there about what is causing climate change and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever find out.
I'm not sure that we ever will. All right. So listen, there are so many good things that are going on. And we just wouldn't be us without a few bad stories to talk about. Let's start with Dan Foss and Wolfspeed. I do have someone who Richard, who regularly pipes in and says it's all done. It's over with. Give us your thought on, obviously this is not good news, but the market has fallen to pieces for what they produce. That's a big problem. Your thoughts on the announcement?
And Dan Foss is disappointing, obviously. And look, any job loss is. I'm not going to say there's a silver lining there. There isn't. It is the industry. It is the electric vehicle piece, and they were very heavily as well kind of like Wolfspeed to an extent, but even more so because the size of their company is much different. They were really focused and had one customer, which was GM, and that's never good if you're just into the one entity of business, and that's your only customer, and that's your only, that's where you supply. And that's really putting your eggs in all in one basket. And so with the fluctuation of the EV industry and everything that's been happening, they can't do it, and so they're going to have to downsize from the point of to nothing at the end of the year, probably most likely. So that's the bad side. The good side on Wolfspeed, is the production that the Mohawk Valley Fab is producing and has continued to produce. The fact that they've got job openings, not layoffs, even on the verge of them restructuring their finances, I still think, is a positive, is not the negative that we're going to see. So I think there's two sides on this, and we're going to have to weather it. But I don't think Wolfspeed is gone by any stretch. I really don't.
But and then I would add to this, the other element of this is if it all blew up and failed, you still have a facility that is one of the most attractive in the country, if not the most.
Well, that's true. And if it all blows up and fails, it's going to all blow up and fail everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's be. I mean, there's going to be other companies that are going to be experiencing the same kind of issues. However, you're absolutely right. You have a built-in workforce. You have a building of clean room space that's second to none. You have that $1 billion building of the amount of square footage of which there's nothing else in the north in upstate New York that matches that. So those are again, you don't want to go down that path and say, well, we'll be okay because somebody will pick it up. We want them to succeed. We want them to continue, and I think they will. I just think they've gone through this bubble that, look, we saw it earlier in this decade.
Yeah.
And so, that's the difficulty in the technology sector, especially when it comes to these things, especially focusing on one area of chip manufacturing, electric vehicles. So diversification is important, and, that's why the other ones will survive as well, but I think they will too.
I'm not sure we all saw it coming, not only but it's a demand issue, and it is a United States demand issue. But I don't think we saw the political aspect of all of this. It really electric, and listen, we all know that the whole electric bus thing and electric trucks and all of that, the infrastructure is just not there. But there was a demand for electric vehicles that kind of dissolved based on politics. It became a political issue.
Well, it did, and to a great extent, but it was also because everybody was putting so many deadlines or pieces in place that by 2030, by 2025 in some cases, that they were going to do this, that the buses, the trucks, even in New York State. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. New York State was one of the leaders in saying we're going to do these deadlines on this stuff. And they were going to talk about not allowing, gas-powered trucks on certain highways, in 2028 or 2030 or whatever it was. And so the industry reacted to that and said, "Wow, we're going to have a lot of, we're going to have to produce a lot of this, and let's focus on that." And I think we saw that, and Wolfspeed basically admitted it, in that regard. They were focused on an industry that, all of a sudden was not, they got away from their core and went with all of that, and here we are. So I do think, the politics of it too, and then the new administration comes in, and as always, especially on the federal level, everybody switches gears because they don't want to give the previous one credit on anything. So they switch gears. They say, well, we're gonna slow it down, or we're gonna cut it back considerably. But, and that has gone back and forth even in this time. So.
It is now. If I'm correct, and I haven't been able to get an answer on this, but I think the law that was signed for California that the president signed, which is now ceased to exist. The order from the governor that large trucks such as Utica Mac, they have to sell an electric before they can sell a gas operated. That mandate is gone now nationwide. I would assume that will apply to school buses as well, right?
Well, you would think it would, and you would hope it would, because and again, in the Northeast, and even in the West, with the heat, I mean, I still think we're taking a real chance on the school bus issue. As far as electric, I mean, I'm not opposed to having some in the fleet that are and can operate at certain times, but until that gets even more refined in the real cold weather. Like everybody, I think we have concerns. I've heard the pros and cons of electric vehicles when it's extremely cold. And we have extremely cold weather from time to time. So, and then the heat, and how much that draws down. And recognizing they're only operating, certain times. But still, I think that, we've got to, determine whether or not that is the best route now and whether we should let technology, build a little bit more before we go down that route. I mean, I'm not the tech guy, so.
But don't you think this is a great example? This is a great example of allowing the market to determine what happens versus government coming in with mandates. Because the market's almost always they're almost always correct. They know where they're going based on a natural progression.
But the problem is when you have governors and presidents, or at least governors, and mostly in this case, setting these parameters, the market follows them and thinks, okay, well, we got to do this. So let's move down that route. It's no different than other processes and other manufacturing pieces.
Do you have anything, Joe, while you're sitting right there? Because if you do, I'm going to let you come in. Joe Malachi is our guest host here this morning.
Always love to hear from Joe.
To say hi. Okay. Listen, I would be remiss if I did not at least bring up the announcement yesterday that a charge has been filed against Rome Mayor Jeff Lanigan. What is your comment on that? And by the way, it's it's second degree harassment is what the charge was, which we wouldn't be talking about this if these weren't two mayors, but nonetheless, we're talking about it.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. And look, Joe is the attorney there. He can give you more of an insight on these things in terms of what it means. But I just think it's unfortunate. I think it's an issue or an event that got completely blown out of proportion by one party, and that's where we are. And it's unfortunate because we really don't need that. And there really is not anything that needs to be publicized. Unfortunately, it will, and it is. And, I think Jeff will, get through this, and we'll support him, and we'll see. Hopefully this goes away very soon.
Yeah. Although Frank Policelli has been confirmed that he has been hired by Brown. Where all of that goes, I don't know. And then I don't know, anything else you want to hit on? I mean, we're coming up on very quickly on the 4th of July holiday. You have Cornhole, of all things. If you were to tell me, and ESPN is going to be covering an American Cornhole tournament at Nexus, that's going on right now.
Yeah, it is. I don't think we envisioned any of that with Nexus, all of the other pieces. This one's interesting. I was just amazed. I think it was years ago when ESPN started broadcasting that from other parts. So, I mean, look, I just think it shows that we can, it obviously shows that we can host these things. And that's what bodes well for, my plan in Rome, at the runway. So, I think all of this stuff is great. Heading into the summer, I wish we'd see a little more summer today, but the weather is getting better. But I think, 4th of July, Honor America Days is coming up. All of the Boilermaker. I mean, we're just, we're poised for all this stuff. So
and Joe is very, very bothered. I can't believe
the World Series of Bocce.
Yeah, I can't believe he hasn't brought it up. But the World Series of Bocce could be on ESPN too. I don't get it.
We'd love it. Hey, Tony, is there any way you can?
It should be.
Joe.
Is there any way you can get me in, with some of these ESPN executives so we can talk about this somehow?
Yeah, we should. Let me see if I can poke them this weekend.
All right, sounds good.
All right, County Executive Anthony Pisani, we appreciate the time. Have a wonderful weekend. Try to stay cool as we heat up this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be good to see the heat even after the spring and the winter and spring we've had. So not going to complain.
Agreed.
All right, have a great weekend, guys.
You do
Take care, Tony.
Thanks. County Executive Anthony Pisani. Coming up, we'll speak with Brian Miller in a few minutes on the recap of the end of their session in Albany. And Hobica's free money question of the day today, Davey.
Make it a big one, Davey.
Is worth how much money today?
$400.
Oh, Lordy.
That's a good one.
$400.
Maybe I could help with the question?
Maybe you could, yeah. If you're, if we'll talk during the break.
Okay.
Unless you've got an axe to grind with Hobica, then I may have to intercept.
I kind of owe him a favor, but so what?
Not going to happen.
So what?
All right, a quick break. Update on the news coming right up at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. The Onondaga County District's Attorney's Office filed over a dozen new charges against a convicted sex offender. Authorities say they have found a third victim who was allegedly sexually assaulted by 33-year-old Ryan Pontello. Those crimes are believed to have happened in January, and these latest charges come after Pontello was previously accused of raping a 3-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl. Anyone with information on these cases is urged to come forward. Ready-to-eat chicken fettuccine Alfredo meals sold at Walmart and Kroger have been recalled after a listeria outbreak that has led to 17 illnesses, including 3 deaths and 1 fetal loss. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the outbreak has sickened people in 13 states, including New York. The affected products were identified in fresh realm products sold under the Market Side brand in Walmart and under the Home Chef brand at Kroger. Customers with affected packages should either throw them away or return them for a refund. You could see a list of all the impacted products on WIBX950.com. The Undiscovered Realm Comic-Con is returning to the Westchester County Center in White Plains. The event is tomorrow and Sunday and features celebrity appearances such as Goosebumps author R.L. Stine and actress Melanie Zanetti, who voices Chili on the hit children's show Bluey. There will also be cosplay contests, question and answer sessions, toys, gaming tournaments, and more. Tickets are $30 for adults, $10 for kids, and children 6 and under. Get in for free. And CVS Caremark is facing a class action lawsuit over alleged political text messages to Louisiana residents. Texts sent last week urged people to oppose a bill being considered by state lawmakers, which aims to regulate pharmacy benefit managers. CVS Caremark is a pharmacy benefit manager owned by CVS Health Corporation. CVS customers report being texted that CVS locations in Louisiana would have to close after House Bill 258 passed. The lawsuit claims this was a use of confidential patient information and violation of patient privacy laws. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Front going through, things settling down, but still we may see a couple of showers, thunder showers here today and into the beginning of the weekend. Heat coming early next week. An isolated shower thunderstorm today, otherwise sun and clouds, 75 and a little bit breezy. Tonight, maybe a shower, 60. Tomorrow, just some isolated showers, thunderstorms, 85. Close to 90 Sunday, well into the 90s Monday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
It is quite hard to believe that considering the heat we had yesterday, we're dealing with clouds now and only 60 degrees. A cool start to the day. All right, Davey, $400. $400 on the line for our Bicus free money question of the day. You're looking for caller number what right now?
Caller number 9.
Number 9. Ninth caller right now at 315-736-0186. This is worth $400.
I think it's a doable question.
I think it is.
I think it definitely could.
I think it is,
have a winner
especially
today.
if you're a Yankees fan.
Yep.
No, that has nothing to do with it. All right, caller number 9, 315-736-0186. People of all ages can experience any level of discomfort in their knees and hips and back and stem from foot issues, all from the feet. Hard to believe. The Good Feet store is now in New Hartford at 4630 Commercial Drive, where they have a 3-step system. First, you come in for a free fitting and test walk. There's no appointment required, and there's no obligation. It is absolutely free. They'll show you where your walk and your step could very well be creating the pain that you're dealing with. Then they'll walk you through their, no pun intended, 3-step system, including strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers, categories of arch supports with varying levels of strength and support to work together to improve and maintain proper foot alignment by exercising, just by walking, and ultimately strengthening muscles, tendons, and ligaments in the feet. And it can erase the pain. Call today at 315-999-3910, but you don't need an appointment. Just stop into the Good Feet store, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. And if you're in need of concrete work, masonry work, Brank Construction has you covered, BRANCK. Stairways, cellarway entrances, basement floors, garage floors, stone walls and old block walls, foundation work. If it's masonry work and concrete work, nobody does it better. They'll get the job done right and right on time. Brank Construction, 315-894-3481. We'll do Hobikers contest next, then Brian Miller on WIBX.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
At the Naimi Auto Group, we believe in honest pricing, quality car care, and a team that treats you with respect, no matter what you drive. Here in Boonville, we like things we can count on: wide roads, bigger trucks, and people you can trust. At Matt Naimi GMC, we share your values: integrity, compassion, and the satisfaction of a hard day's work. Whether it's service or sales, when you drive off our lot, you're not just a customer, you're a part of the family. Matt Naimi GMC, Den Kelly Chevy GMC, Naimi's New Generation Cars, 3 hometown stores, 1 name you can trust.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
That would be the Tonight Show. Hello. Isn't that what Ed McMahon would do?
Ed McMahon.
Yeah. That's a good one. That actually is a very good Ed McMahon laugh. Right? All right, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and out of nowhere, Davey has become an enemy of Hobica by picking the number 400 as the amount of money that's on the line here this morning. Hobica Law Firm, for all of your legal needs, call 315-724-1600, the Hobica Law Firm. And on the line right now is Debbie in Rome. Hello, Debbie. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm doing well. You'll be doing really well.
Did Debbie go if she went to the World Series?
Don't give her a hint. Yeah,
I'm just saying, if she went to the World Series last year, she might know this.
She might know this. She may know this.
Right.
No, I didn't go to the World Series.
Well, you might still know it.
Well, Debbie, I got to tell you, just the fact that you're from Rome increases your chances of winning this, okay?
I hope so.
Okay.
All right.
Come on,
and
Debbie.
remember, if you don't have the answer, a guess will do, okay? And
throw something out,
and
please.
you're only going to have 7 seconds. So here we go. This is your question for $400. Last year at the World Series of Bocce in Rome, the youngest winner ever was the overall winner. How old was he? Ready, go.
I'm going to say 9.
Was he 9 years old?
No.
Boy.
Oh, shoot.
If you had a second guess, Debbie, what's in your head? If you had a second guess.
11.
11. Well, that's still not
too
there.
young. No.
Yeah. The answer is
15.
15.
Oh, geez. I was way off.
Well, listen, there was a lot riding on that. $400. That would have been awesome.
I know.
Well, listen, we're gonna take you and give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's $25 gift card. It's great because it's good at many different restaurants in the area and the Odd and Nexus. So stand by, and Davey's gonna take care of you. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Debbie. Great having you on. Thank you so much.
You have a good day.
You do the same, and stay cool this weekend. Okay.
I know.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Stand by. Davey's going to take care of you. 15-year-old, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong. You gave me the answer, so I know I'm right. Nico Fox.
Nico Fox.
Who played for Adelio's.
Adelio's
contractors from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, they recruited him.
Pretty darn impressive.
He played great the whole tournament and carried him through, and he was the MVP of that team too at 15 years old, which is incredible.
Interestingly, there have been other young winners.
Yes.
In the World Series of Bocce.
Right, there have been.
That could be the next question.
Yeah,
16, right?
16 he beat it just by a few months. That was his goal too. You know, when he first started playing, he started playing at probably 8 or 9 years old. He'd come down and throw balls with his dad or whatever. And he always said, I want to be the youngest winner. And so last year was his last opportunity, obviously. So
right.
So and he
to
made
be
it,
the youngest winner.
Yes, and he made it happen.
Wow, that's so cool. That's very cool.
Realized his dream.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but Brian Miller is a huge cornhole fan.
Yeah, we all play cornhole.
Everybody does.
And
right?
I even watch it on ESPN. There's nothing to do on a Saturday afternoon.
I got to tell you, they're at the Odd right now at
Yeah,
Nexus.
I'm thinking about going down. I was listening to you, earlier, and I was like, oh, okay,
it'd be worth checking it out. And these and they're professionals. They are incredible.
Well, they're not going to miss, not like us.
Yeah, not like us. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of missing, the budget process.
Budget process, what was it, 5 weeks late?
Yeah.
It was the latest budget since I've been there. I know the first year I was there, it was 13 days late, and they blamed it on me because I was a new guy.
Right.
You know, I've been there my fifth term now. So
right.
It wasn't me. It was a $254 billion budget. There was a lot of, there were some good things in there, of course.
Yeah.
But, I'm ranker on the transportation committee, and that was one of the, the huge disappointments we had. was the CHIPS funding.
Right.
There was only a $50 million increase in CHIPS funding.
Yep.
And we all drive in, we all drive on the roads, and $50 million was a drop in the pothole.
Especially that's a great way of putting it, a drop in the pothole, especially when the budget was so large.
Oh, yeah.
We're spending money on things that are just not going to improve the lives and quality of life of New Yorkers.
Absolutely. And the budget's gone up $104 billion since I've been there.
Wow.
Not from my votes, but from the progressive spend and tax.
Yeah.
And
you can't. Some budgets probably never even reached $104 billion. And now it's just up $104 billion.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What's interesting is it's easy to say these downstate assemblymen and senators, downstate New Yorkers, the far left progressives, but it's not just that. I mean,
it's not just that.
Yeah.
We come off COVID, costs have gone up,
mm-hmm.
but we really need to take a good look. We got to tighten our belts.
Yeah.
We didn't address affordability throughout the state. There's a lot of situations that really could have been brought up. And one of the big ones. I don't know if Ben's going to be on later, but
yeah,
we had a crazy bill kind of raise its ugly head that we wanted to squash before it got there. Was the 700 animal limit on farms,
which would be the worst possible timing for us.
Oh, absolutely.
With Chobani.
Well, let's just think about this.
Yeah,
So,
can you take that? See that black windscreen? Just pull that right off, and that'll allow you to get really. Rip that right up. Yep, beautiful. Okay. Now get nice and tight to the silver.
Well, I got a voice like yours this morning.
Yes, we're off just a little bit today. So you squash that?
It's not going to ever make. I don't assume it's going to ever make its way there. We had a press conference down there. We had Farm Bureau. We had all the former farmers there and farmers that are still farming.
Yeah.
And, we pointed it out, and hopefully those are the crazy things that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
There was other things, late in the week, late in the budget, I shouldn't say budget process, but our session process, there was a corrections reform bill that came up. And, they addressed a lot of the security measures, in the correction facilities with cameras and things like that.
Yeah.
But, one of the big things they didn't address was our CO safety.
Yeah.
So the bill kind of went, this is a big thing in Albany. They kind of put these bills out there, and they kind of satisfy a little bit, but they don't really
go all the way
through the whole, the whole corrective action.
Can I ask a question? What would have been the impetus for the limit on the 700 animals for a farm? What was the reason behind it? Was it a climate change thing, or
the sky's the limit? Who knows?
Well, it very well could have been. I hate to say this, but and again, back to that progressive New York City influence. They're seeing pictures from organizations like PETA of too many animals in the confines of a barn or whatever.
And they think the animals are being abused, and there's manure issues, but that's all regulated by the DEC, and it's a function of how many acres the farm has. Really limits how many animals you can have on the farm.
And what they also don't understand is if you're producing milk, milk is one of the. Now I am no expert by any means. But I do like milk. If you're producing milk, farmers are so aware of the fact that there is, I know this is not going to be the way they would describe it, but maybe Ben will do better in a few minutes, but there's a comfort level and a
happy cow produces better milk.
That's exactly right.
Just going to say that, yeah.
And that's a real thing.
Yes, it is. And, Cornell and all of our ag universities across and ag studies across the nation, probably across the world, have really identified this, and our farms are following those procedures.
So the other timing, how this is, I mean, all of these things, there's such a science that plays a role in this today. But then to watch, the the stuff that these guys come up with from downstate is just
And it seems to come out
crazy.
It seems to come out of the same legislator.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
And,
who is that legislator? Would you mind?
Legislator Rosenthal.
Okay.
And she has a lot of unique bills.
Okay.
With animals, and
so she may very well be a PETA person.
She could be.
She probably is.
And we'd really like to get her up here either on Mary Ann Buttonshaw's farm tour or the one you were at last year.
That was
when we were at the Curtin Dairies, down in Bridgewater.
Yeah, because you wonder if these people have actually conceived these ideas based on an experience that they had, or is it just something conceptual that they say, this needs to be modified because I'm perceiving that this is how it is. So rather than actually going up and visiting.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I believe there were some documentaries out of some farms in California
Right.
a few years back that showed animal abuse and all this.
That's the problem. Where this stuff.
And then ascribing that to everybody.
Yes.
But the budget was huge. We'll probably be back in Albany.
That's the hardest part of this. You don't know what's going to be coming from the feds.
Right.
So you may be back in September.
We may be back in September. Who knows? The last week and a half has been, 11 o'clock, 12-hour days. I got a little jet lag still from the last 2 weeks.
Flying on the thruway.
Flying down the thruway. The thruway is one of the best maintained roads in probably the nation.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're really concentrating on now, my office, is highway safety.
Yeah.
We saw that trooper had a terrible accident. Nobody was killed week and a half ago on the move over.
Right.
We're going to put some columns out on it, and we're going to be talking about this.
I am going to tell you and I've done just an increased amount of driving on the thruway. It seems over the course of the last few years, and listen, I like to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. However, I don't think I am a road rager, but I'm going to tell you there are some really bad characters on that thruway. And I've seen some merges. So what do you want me to do is what I want to say to the person that's like right on me, like right big truck or whatever. I've got 10 cars in front of me, all trying to pass the tractor trailer on the right. And I can't go any faster but what this person really wants is for everyone to conform to him, pull over to the right so he can go by.
Right.
I just don't get it. And then, they pass on the right and they merge in. And if the person doesn't hit their brakes, there's going to be a terrible accident. That's where a lot of this stuff.
It's almost like a NASCAR race.
It is.
It really is. But, the move over law, it works two ways.
And that's
the car,
everything. It's not
just
the
car on the right, but it's also the car on the left.
Yeah,
has to allow the car on the right to get over there.
Yeah,
wouldn't there have been a way to bifurcate it? Because I know there's a lot of New York City commuters that were concerned about this law, and that's. But couldn't we say, maybe one set of rules for the thruway and maybe another set of rules for, like, say, the Belt Parkway down in New York City, to kind of accommodate both situations?
Is it pull over? Do you have to move over down there too?
No,
right.
I don't think so. I mean, even if there is a law, I don't know that they're abiding by it.
If you're in the city, an ambulance, nobody moves over for the ambulance. But most people, I think, conform to this.
Yes, they do.
Most people do, but you have those.
But we want to get that word out there. It's construction season. And another thing, school's going to be out. There's going to be
a lot of kids
on bikes. There's going to be, so really pay attention.
Brian Miller, thank you.
Thanks, guys. And just one last thing.
I'm gonna have you wait. We're gonna do it on the other side. So hang on. We'll take you right out of sports because it takes me automatically in about 5, 4, 3, 2.
See ya.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
They've been battling for a week now. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And as Israeli warplanes attack more of Iran's nuclear missile production sites, Iran fired more missiles, and one got through the Iron Dome.
The missile hit this morning in the town of Beersheba in southern Israel. It hit near an apartment complex, also an industrial complex, resulting in fire on the ground and a lot of structure damage. No reports of injuries. There are reports that this single missile made its way through the air defenses because one of the interceptors malfunctioned.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. President Trump keeps saying Iran can't be allowed to have nuclear weapons, and he's told Israel's prime minister he'll decide within 2 weeks if the U.S. will help take out Iran's program.
Benjamin Netanyahu reacting to that, stating that he trusts President Trump's judgment. Also, he feels that Israel is capable of destroying Iran's nuclear threat unilaterally. The U.S., though, is the only nation with possession of a bomb that could reach Iran's nuclear enrichment site Fordow, which is built deep into the mountainside.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the White House, where just before midnight, President Trump posted on Truth Social, big win at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, adding that the judges realized that California Governor Gavin Newsom is incompetent and ill-prepared. This after the court upheld the president's authority to deploy National Guard troops to Los Angeles to deal with protests over illegal immigration raids, but the Democratic governor vows to keep challenging that. And a Fox News poll seems to side with Newsom. A slight majority agree.
The Trump administration's gone too far on immigration enforcement. A similar number found that sending National Guard and U.S. troops to Southern California made the situation worse. Nearly two-thirds of independent voters polled do not approve of the way ICE is operating, with voters evenly split on approving or disapproving protests against ICE.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. In that poll, 46% approve of the overall job the president's doing. Summer starts tonight, and
it's going to feel like the dog days of summer across the central U.S.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, it could hit 101 degrees in Denver today. Heat advisories or warnings from there to Minnesota to Mississippi, then the East Coast gets it next week. America's listening to Fox News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
As Israel and Iran keep battling each other, some Americans stuck in Israel, unable to flee the Iran missile attacks, finally did get out on flights chartered by Florida's governor.
A second flight of Florida residents fleeing missile attacks in Israel landed in Tampa early this morning. It's part of an effort through the Florida Department of Emergency Management. Governor Ron DeSantis says it's the state's responsibility to help its people.
The reality is there's going to be more folks that are going to be rescued. This is an ongoing effort. I know that there's, potentially some other states that may want to get in the game at this point.
Florida coordinated with Gray Bull Rescue to get the Florida residents from Israel to Cyprus via cruise ships in order to board flights back to Florida. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Another American got an even bigger welcome home yesterday. They were all gathered in Tenafly, New Jersey, as Idana Alexander returned to where he grew up. They celebrated his release last month after a 1.5-year hostage ordeal. Alexander was born in Tel Aviv and gone back to serve in Israel's military when he was kidnapped by Hamas in the 2023 terror attack and held captive in Gaza till he was the last living American hostage set free. A Jewish Republican in Congress says he was attacked while driving his car.
Max Miller is calling the incident a blatant act of anti-Semitic violence. In a video posted to social media, the Ohio lawmaker described the driver shouting death to Israel and threats against him and his family. The encounter happened in Rocky River just outside Cleveland. Miller, a former Marine, has filed a report with Capitol Police and local authorities.
As Fox's Ted Lindner. On Wall Street, stock futures are now up modestly ahead of today's trading after yesterday's Juneteenth holiday off. In the NBA, the finals all tied up now after the Indiana Pacers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 108-91 in Game 6. That forces a Game 7 championship decider Sunday night. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 60 degrees, sun peeking through the clouds, and it is windy. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. Your news is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan has been charged with harassment following an exchange with former Mayor Jim Brown. Brown claims Lanigan became physical with him following an argument while Lanigan alleges Brown was drunk and was escorted to his vehicle, and no physical altercation has happened. The public has not seen the surveillance video allegedly depicting their interaction. Brown did sustain an injury to his arm that was treated at a hospital. Lanigan was charged with harassment after an Oswego County judge signed the criminal summons, of which Lanigan was served by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office yesterday. It is unknown if there will be a trial. If convicted, Lanigan would still be able to serve as mayor. You could read the full story on WIBX950.com. A new coronavirus variant that causes a severe sore throat is now believed to make up more than a third of COVID cases in the U.S. right now. The highly contagious variant, called Nimbus, Omicron has been replaced, has a symptom that is being referred to as razor blade throat because it feels like swallowing razor blades. The CDC says it makes up about 37% of cases nationwide and recently caused coronavirus surges in China and other parts of Asia. With hot temperatures expected over the next few days, the American Red Cross says there are things people can do to stay safe. The agency recommends everyone stay hydrated and avoid doing strenuous outdoor activities during the warmest part of the day. Also, wear light-colored clothing and make sure to check in on elderly neighbors who may not have air conditioning. Some signs of heat stroke are dizziness, lack of sweating, rapid heartbeat, and nausea. And folks who love Polish food and culture will want to check out an event that's starting today. The 2025 Syracuse Polish Festival runs through Sunday at Clinton Square, and there will be a wide variety of things to eat and drink, like kielbasas, pierogies, plus Polish beer. The event benefits the Polish Scholarship Fund, which gives out scholarships of $1,000 to high school seniors and college students of Polish descent. There's no cost to attend the festival. Your WIBX News Time, 8:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Front going through, things settling down, but still, we may see a couple of showers, thunder showers here today and into the beginning of the weekend. Heat coming early next week. An isolated shower thunderstorm today, otherwise sun and clouds, 75 and a little bit breezy. Tonight, maybe a shower, thunder shower, 60. Tomorrow, just some isolated showers, thunderstorms, 85. Close to 90 Sunday, well into the 90s Monday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Sunny and 60, but it's a little blustery right now. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. There will be a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. The first time since 2016 we've had a Game 7. The Indiana Pacers took down Oklahoma City 108-91 in that win or go home Game 6. Obi Toppin came up big with a team high of 20 points off the bench to help the Pacers force that Game 7. A veteran linebacker is officially calling it a career. Former Ravens and Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley announced his retirement via social media yesterday. He's 33 and he has been a free agent after being released by the Jets at the start of the league year in March. Mosley was selected by Baltimore with the 17th overall pick in 2014. He then agreed to a 5-year, $85 million contract with the Jets in 2019. The man who served as captain of the Syracuse Crunch is deciding to call it a career. Gabriel Dumont is retiring after a professional hockey career that lasted 16 seasons and included 912 regular seasons and playoff games. Dumont had 2 stints as Syracuse captain from 2018 to 2019 and 2021 until this year. He was originally selected by the Montreal Canadiens of the 2009 NHL draft and was twice named a member of the AHL All-Star team. The Yankees finally did it. They snapped their skid in their series finale against the Angels, earning a 7-3 victory. Trent Grisham and Paul Goldschmidt slugged back-to-back homers as the Pinstripes snapped the game skid. New York leads the AL East. They host the Orioles for a 3-game set beginning tonight. The Mets didn't have the same luck. They were dominated by the Braves, 7-1 in their series finale. Clay Holmes absolutely no shocker, suffered his 4th loss of the season. After allowing 3 runs on 4 hits and 6 runs, New York has dropped 6 in a row. They visit the Phillies for a 3-game set beginning tonight. The Sabres, they announced their annual development camp. It'll start later this month. The camp began June 30th and will run through July 3rd. The NHL draft begins June 27th and wraps the 28th. The Sabres draft headquarters will be at Bills HQ in Orchard Park. Their first pick will be 9th. A pair of players are tied atop the leaderboard after the opening round of the Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands. Scotty Scheffler and Austin Eckroat both shot an 8 under 62 in the first round. Wyndham Clark, Rory McIlroy, and Keegan Bradley are in a 3-way tie for 3rd at 6 under par. Daniel Berger and Sam Stevens will be among the first pair of players teeing off in round 2 from Cromwell, Connecticut. The NASCAR Cup Series is heading to one of the hottest vacation spots this Sunday. The field battles at Pocono Raceway for the Great American Getaway 400. Shane Van Gisbergen is hoping to build on his Viva Mexico victory last weekend as he sits 30th in the standings. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin make up the top 5. Your WIBX News Time, 8:11, 60 degrees under sunny skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
I promised to bring Brian back in. I know you wanted to add something, and have Ben come in as well, as we'll squeeze Ben in here. So instead of beating, this is Lance and Lee. Are you ready? Instead of beating around the bush, just ask Brian Miller who were the local representatives upstate that voted yes for the budget. And it's a little more complicated than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice and tight on that.
Yes, it is. There's a series of budget bills.
Yes,
I believe there's
votes.
9, maybe 10. Okay, and each bill has anything from education to transportation to you name it. But plus, there's a lot of policy.
Yeah,
sprinkled.
And therein lies the problem. So you could have something, and this is something that Claudia Tenney was notorious for. She would vote no matter what. But you could have a situation where funding for Chobani.
Yep, absolutely. It could be in there with
something that you don't want to vote for, and you're stuck with a very difficult problem.
Right. And
By
that's
the way,
it is.
It's designed that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, there's always one bill that has all the stuff, all the bad stuff in it, along with school funding, and they call it the big ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's awful tough on who votes for what. I vote much like Claudia did, and most of the minority members do. But
it kind of helps, too, knowing that most likely it's going to pass.
Well, absolutely.
I hate to say that.
Absolutely. But we debate during, there's debate during the...
I'm sure there is.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And but that's just the way it is. There's good stuff with bad stuff.
Yeah.
And that's so your no vote and yes vote, it's really... Who knows?
So forgive my ignorance on this, but is there a way to do just an up or down on a singular issue, or are you kind of stuck with the...
If it's in the bill, it's included in the bill.
My example of like all of these things that you would never vote for,
right?
And then funding for Griffiths. That's
absolutely.
a great example, and that is one that existed.
And Governor Cuomo was very good at how he sprinkled the bad and good into the budget.
It's very extremely strategic. They'll know that certain members are going to vote. Are going to vote against something, and then they'll just strategically put something in there that you have a hard time voting against, or it'll be used against you when you run the next time. So this is all complicated.
To Lance and Lee's, try to give them an answer. Most of the minority members, I'm quite sure, voted no across the board for. And the majority members, you can look at their votes online, and you can see where they voted. I don't sit there and watch who voted for what.
Right. Okay. All right. That's all I have there, except in here is Ben Simons. Nice and tight on that microphone, Ben.
Good morning, Bill. And
good morning.
And Brian. On my way in, I was listening to the show, and that subject came up about the 700 cow from Rosenthal being proposed down in New York City. And I got to tell you, that frustrated me. I'm on edge here. I'm
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
on the verge of becoming unhinged, but I won't. But those people down in New York City, I call them do-gooders. They want to do good by sitting there coming up with legislation of what us farmers need in upstate.
Right.
And then we farmers, sometimes things pass, just like Brian said, that once in a while they'll mix something that's not so good for agriculture in a bill, and then it gets passed because the bigger part of the bill was the more important part of the bill.
A good example of this was the limit on hours that farm workers can work.
Correct.
The problem you have is for farmers on a if it's this year's probably a really good example with all the rain.
Perfect.
You get
example.
2 sunny days. You're working practically around the clock.
You're working your 40 hours in 2 days.
But the law won't allow that.
Correct.
For that.
That's
So you're creating your illegalities. You're creating people breaking the law. They have no choice.
And so I want to go back to that 700 cow thing to just tell you how crazy that law is, or that proposal she put together. 700 cows in 2025 is not an economical number, because the farmers that have 700 cows and they max out at that 700 cow number, it's not efficient for the farm. The same amount of equipment, investment, millions of dollars worth of equipment to harvest the feed, produce the feed, grow the crops, plow, plant, seed, is the same size equipment that farmers need for 1,000 cow farms. It's the same. So it's an uneven number.
Right.
The second part of that problem is when you haul milk. Okay, 700 cows do not fill a tractor trailer full of milk. Right. And the new hauling, the way the structure is with transportation and weights and scales on the thruway and everywhere, it doesn't matter where you go with milk, they want full tractor trailer loads of milk, which is about 80,000 pounds. The new bigger trucks and multiple axles is 100,000.
Yeah.
So it's inefficient. That number would have put farmers out of business if they could grow just to 700 and they wouldn't get the DEC permit to grow any further. So what frustrates me, Brian, and I want to commend you first, and I'm not going after you, I'm just telling you that you, Marianne Buttonshaw, and Joe Griffo are nothing less than the true friends of agriculture in upstate New York. And I truly mean that, because whenever us farmers have an issue, or Farm Bureau, we know that we can count on Brian, Marianne, Joe Griffo, and Ken Blankenbush to the north, and I know, and Mr. Smullen, Robert Smullen, they have our backs. But the problem is those crazy people down in New York City that think they're trying to tell us upstate what to do and how to farm. It'd be like us, like Brian Miller and Joe Griffo, Marianne, and Robert Smullen and Ken Blankenbush, going on the floor and saying, we want you down in New York City to run your cars only a certain amount of miles. Or we're going to tell your mass transit how to run your place down there. It really, really gets under my skin how bad them people keep coming up with rules and regulations. I know where she came up with the 700 cow thing.
I'm wondering. I was going to ask, where did that come from?
One, it's a carbon footprint deal. Second of all, the federal government has the same sort of requirements about regulating the farms, like the acreages of manure spread and nutrient management on the farm.
Okay.
New York State took it one step further and moved it down to 300 cows. But the federal level is at 700 to do all your nutrient management. So that's where she came up with that issue.
All right.
And a few days after she came up with it, Commissioner Richard Ball was in Lewis County, and I got right on to Richard Ball about this. And Richard assured me that, Ben, this will not come out of committee because, one, like you guys said earlier, you have the governor, even though we get mad at her, and I get it. Don't worry, I get it. She had a lot of crazy things going on. But when it comes to agriculture and dairy, the governor is very, very supportive. She put a lot of money into this Chobani project that's getting going, that we're hoping will get really going. She put a lot of money into the Fairlife milk plant that's out in Rochester that's being built and getting ready to take milk. Niagara Upstate just put a multi-million-dollar addition on. She put a bunch of money into that. Agrimark up in Chateauguay, the macadam cheese product, the state just put a bunch of money into that plant up there for energy and different things like that. So we get mad at the governor. I'm all about, don't worry, she's got issues. But when it comes to agriculture, I can tell you that she supports it. Look at the amount of money that was put in her initial budget. basically she funded most everything that Farm Bureau asked for right off the bat in her draft. Am I right, Brian?
Yes, absolutely.
Davey, could you bring in a fire extinguisher? He's burning up. He's
For
burning
sure,
up.
very passionate.
When you
I
start
got him
talking
going this
downstate,
I got him going.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, it's,
I need to calm down. But
no,
when
no,
you
you're
talk
doing
about
good.
them downstaters telling us farmers how to farm, I get on fire.
And listen, this is the type of advocacy that we need because they're
yes.
just as passionate on the other side, right? And so,
well, and here's the other part of this too: is Brian, you're not just someone who has lives in upstate New York. You've also been a farmer.
I was an apple grower. We come from a dairy family. This is what we do. And if you think about what's happening right now, and I know when Chobani when I was at the announcement, when we were talking about the economic impact Chobani's going to have, and Great Lakes cheese and powdered milk out in Auburn, and don't forget about Hood right down the road.
Right.
But this is truly bigger than the semiconductor industry because it's so far-reaching.
Yes.
And it's sustaining. It's touching every one of us, from advanced manufacturing right down to the hardware stores that supply the nuts and bolts for the farmer to maintain everything.
Well, and we'll start with the construction jobs. They're going to be just enormous. But this is...
And something else that we really got to think about here.
Yeah.
Exit 31 is going to get reworked. So with Chobani, that's going to be part of the new design criteria, how we're going to get people from the throughway or the haulers from wherever they are on the 49 to move over.
That's a great point. That's a big... So great opportunity for the region. I'm not sure people even understand how much of an opportunity. The other part of Chobani is this is an industry that looks like it has a very long life.
Limit.
Sky's the limit, but it's an industry that already is proven, exists, and it's a company that's already selling. And how quickly they can be up and running is incredible. Absolutely. I mean, next fall.
Well, Hamdai and I go back 12 years, okay? When I was the treasurer for the Boonville Farmers Co-op, I was on the milk procurement team, and we met with him 12 years ago to start selling milk to him as a smaller private co-op. And so at the shovel groundbreaking ceremony, I asked him, all these intricate questions because him and I have a relationship that goes back 12 years. And he said, Ben, I built that plant out there in Twin Falls, Idaho, which is going to be, this one's going to actually be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And he says, I built that in 300, and I thought he said 56 days, or 326 days. 326 days I built that plant in Twin Falls, Idaho. And he says, I'm going to beat that.
Wow.
Once he gets everything in line.
Yeah.
The other part that I want to make mention here to everybody and your listeners is when Chobani got established down in South Edmiston, that's his very first plant down there. There is very little business in Shenango County that does not have the Chobani fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
And a fine one is when they redid the library down there. Chobani stepped up. Then the other one that really kind of dear to me is the Shenango County Fair. I do a lot of announcing for tractor pulls and motorsports. Yeah. And there's most all the buildings down there and the barns were all refurbished down there, and they have a plaque on them saying thank you to the donation, the contribution of Chobani.
Yeah.
The other big one was, it comes to my mind real quick here, is the fire department down in Norwich. They had a big, huge fundraiser looking to buy a new ambulance down there. Well, they didn't meet their goal, okay? You know how it is, fundraisers.
Sure, yeah.
And so anyway, when it got to be the end of the fundraiser, when it got to be time, they made the announcement, we're a little short, we got to continue with our fundraiser. Hamdai and his team and his people at Chobani wrote the check. So we in this community don't even know that. I mean, most people in this community don't even know that. You go down to Shenango County.
They know it.
And they are going to spread that wealth here. There's no question, because Hamdai is all about community and people. And so people have no clue where this is going to go.
It was interesting to hear him say, I'm a New Yorker and I'm proud to be from New York. We've kind of forgotten that a little bit, right? I mean, we're all you hear is, I can't wait to get the hell out of New York. But here's a guy that loves it, loves investing in New York, and it's going to change our world here, and that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and I think when the announcement came, I mean, he focused on the fact that he felt like it was family here, right?
Yeah.
And that's really played
and
a
a
huge
real
role.
relationship that he has with Tony.
Yeah,
big. All right, I do have to break. Now, I understand. We
I'm on
appreciate
fire this morning,
the milk
Bill.
you brought in, but we still have to pay the bills, sir.
Yes.
Brian, anything you want to add? I know you wanted something.
One quick one.
Yeah.
There's an Italian feast we have, and then there's a American-Italian legislator group in Albany.
I think like it's a Utica thing comes down for that. And
Pretty much,
yeah.
Well, they have at their feast, they have a bocce tournament. And what I'd like to do, and I'll talk to the senator because I'm not a member of the group, but maybe we can get the winner of the Assembly bocce tournament to come up and play in your tournament next year.
Well, I'd love to have him.
The World Series
Absolutely.
of bocce.
I'll give you my contact info, Brian.
First thing, Brian, you have to start doing is calling it botch. I've been
bocce.
scolded.
I don't know. I know.
Either one works. Either one works.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, hey, I bought a tub of manicotti. Or
yes,
Manigat.
I was just going to say that. My wife does that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get grocery. It's like, yeah. So.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Nice
Thanks,
job
Brian.
today, Ben. Stick
Brian,
around. We're going to get to more of you. In studio, Joe Malachi is our guest host here. Stand by. We'll come back here.
Looking for a reliable ride without the brand new price tag? Come to Steed Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer and check out our huge selection of Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicles. Virtually all makes and models, all backed by a certified warranty and low financing options. Right now, qualified buyers get rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on popular models like the Chevy Equinox, Trailblazer, Traverse, and Malibu. Take the stress out of car shopping and receive the buying experience you deserve from your local family-owned dealership. You'll drive with confidence in a Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicle from Steed Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer. But hurry, these deals won't last. You must take delivery by June 30th. Together, let's drive to Steed Pawnee Chevrolet, State Route 28 in Herkimer, or online anytime at SteedPawneeChevy.com. All taxes and fees additional. Customer must qualify for top-tier credit through GM Financial. See salesperson for details.
The 4th of July is more than a celebration. It's a reminder of what freedom really means. It means we have a responsibility to stay prepared, stay strong, and stay independent, no matter what the future brings. That's why My Patriot Supply is running their 4th of July sale with huge savings on emergency food kits, solar power systems, water filtration, and more. From solar generators to long-term food storage that lasts 25 years, every item is made to help Americans take care of their own without waiting on FEMA or the power company. Shop the sale now at mypatriotsupply.com/radio and save big on all things preparedness. My Patriot Supply is American-owned, American-operated, and proud to support the self-reliant spirit that made this country great. Don't wait. Shop mypatriotsupply.com/radio to stock up during the 4th of July sale. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio, because real freedom starts with being ready.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
At the Naimi Auto Group, we believe in honest pricing, quality car care, and a team that treats you with respect, no matter what you drive. In Hamilton, we know what really matters. Family, friends, and trucks that don't know the word quit. At Den Kelly Chevy GMC, we've been your neighbor for years. Same store, new story. New or used, Chevy or GMC, we deliver strength backed by genuine integrity, heartfelt compassion, and a work ethic that stood the test of time. Den Kelly Chevy GMC, Matt Naimi GMC, Naimi's new generation cars. 3 hometown stores, one name you can trust.
The 2025 Boilermaker is sold out, but WIBX with Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro has your last chance to get in. Score an official running bib on us to the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race. Enter on the WIBX mobile app by June 22nd, and you could be running in one of America's most famous races on July 13th. So run, don't walk. To register now to win one of the exclusive Boilermaker running bibs on the WIBX app. Thanks to Fit Body Bootcamp of Clinton and Whitesboro and WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM. Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan has been charged with harassment following an exchange with former Mayor Jim Brown. Brown claims Lanigan became physical with him following an argument, while Lanigan alleges Brown was drunk and was escorted to his car, and no physical altercation happened. The public has not seen the surveillance video allegedly depicting the interaction. Brown did sustain an injury to his arm that was treated at a hospital. Lanigan was charged with harassment after an Oswego County judge signed the criminal summons, of which Lanigan was served by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. It is unknown if this will proceed to trial. If convicted, Lanigan would still be able to serve as mayor. A series of strong thunderstorms broke out over central New York, and the people of Rome experienced some very unwanted deja vu when a funnel cloud took shape over the city. An amazing photo of the beginnings of a tornado attempting to take shape was snapped at the CRC Raceway and Hobbies in Rome. Weather spotters say the funnel cloud was too weak to create a tornado capable of touching the ground, so the city was not under any threat. Additionally, no damage has been reported. You could check out this amazing photo on WIBX950.com. A singer who made waves last weekend when she sang the Star-Spangled Banner in Spanish before a Dodgers game is getting a new audience. Colombian-Dominican entertainer Neza attended Wednesday's LA City Council meeting where she sang the national anthem in Spanish once again. Neza made headlines when she sang the song in Spanish last weekend after being told by a Dodgers representative to sing it in English. She has said with all of the immigration issues going on in Los Angeles currently, she had to do what she felt was right. Neza has claimed Dodgers representatives has told her she's never welcome back, though the Dodgers claim no such conversation happened and that they aren't mad at Neza's decision to sing the anthem in Spanish. And the deadline to renew Medicaid benefits is approaching. A renewal process hasn't occurred since the global COVID-19 shutdown. That's prompted state health officials to remind parents about the critical deadline set for June 30th. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Front going through, things settling down, but still, we may see a couple of showers, thunder showers here today and into the beginning of the weekend. Heat coming early next week. An isolated shower thunderstorm today, otherwise sun and clouds, 75 and a little bit breezy. Tonight, maybe a shower, thunder shower, 60. Tomorrow, just some isolated showers, thunderstorms, 85. Close to 90 Sunday, well into the 90s Monday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Well, we have wind, clouds, maybe a little sun. It's quite an interesting mixture out there. 61 degrees currently at WIBX 832. In studio right now, Joe Malachi is our guest host. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
And Ben Simons. We're going to go to Ben. Ben, representing you've got a lot of stuff. You have an agenda that we will get to coming up in a second on agriculture. And let's go from there to tourism. And I'm hoping I can pronounce this properly. See how I do here, Davey. Katie Wojila, good morning.
No. Wodilla.
Wodilla. That is how it's pronounced?
That's correct, Wodilla.
It's all right, Davey.
I know some Wodillas in Rome.
Well, I should have asked you.
That's all right.
I hate mispronouncing people's names. Wodilla. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
You're the Chief Marketing Officer at Water Safari. Listen, here we are in season, and boy, do you have the perfect weather to attract people up north.
Yes, we're excited. Finally, some upstate New York, nice summer weather.
God, this has been awful, hasn't it? It's just been so bad.
It has been.
Yeah. Okay, what's new this year at Enchanted Forest? Water Safari.
We've got 10 new cabana rentals. Our cabana rentals at the park are extremely popular, so their reservations are starting to pick up. We definitely recommend people, plan their trip and book in advance. We've got mobile ordering in the park for food orders. So at select locations around the park, you can scan the QR code and place your food order in advance.
I like that.
And then, pick it up, skip the food line. So that's new. Hopefully that'll help up, speed of service for families looking, then they can just enjoy the park while they're waiting.
Yeah.
We've got a really fun circus show this year. Every year we try to make do something different for the circus. So this year there's Wheel of Destiny, motorcycles in the giant steel globe, which is a favorite from the past. We've got an aerial act, a clown, and then there's a really fun performing dog act for the kids.
Now, that to me, I find to be the most interesting because that is the biggest throwback to what it is that you guys do. A circus family that basically takes up residency in the Water Safari Enchanted Forest for the entire summer. That's really what it is, right?
Yeah. We've had the circus at the park since 1956.
Wow.
Every year. So it's tradition. I mean, in tradition is what we have here at Water Safari. I mean, our park. This is 70th summer that we've been open, and it's really neat to see the families come back with their kids, their grandkids, and that's what our park is all about: creating memories across generations. And we're pretty proud of that.
When someone's trying to take a picture and they're like, no, you have to sit there. You're standing over there. That is because they are duplicating the photo they took 50 years ago.
Right.
Yes. Mostly at Paul Bunyan.
Mostly at Paul Bunyan. All right. So I know Joe has a question, and I want to do one for my wife, who is a second grade teacher. We were just talking about you guys, and she is extremely concerned that when she talks to her students, she said, I will always ask, did you go to see the crooked house? And she said, oh no, the kids are like, no, but we went down the water slide and we did. Are you still, her fear is that you'll someday remove that whole section of Enchanted Forest, which is really what the beginning was all about. Any plans for that?
No, there's no plans for that. I mean, we, like I said, that's part of our history. It's the Enchanted Forest and that storybook. So, people come back every year to see those things with their kids, and that's important. We know that's important to our guests.
And it's always nice when you put them in the stroller and they have no choice. This is what you're doing. Okay,
I have a 1.5-year-old now, so I know how it is.
So you get it. Yeah, you get it. Joe.
Yeah, so I just want to say I love the Enchanted Forest. One of my sons was born on August 3rd, and every year he wanted to spend his birthday there. And we made a trip there every year, and it was amazing. We loved going there. But one of the things we loved doing as well is we would bring our own cooler with sandwiches and we were able to bring that in the park. And I've heard a lot of people say that was something that it was a turnoff a little bit when they heard that's been banned now. So I was just wondering about that a little bit.
Oh, has that been banned now?
Or at least that's what I've heard.
So you have it's season pass holders can bring in coolers.
Okay.
I mean that's the exception that we made. I think you probably know, you go into any big venue across the United States and coolers aren't allowed to be brought in. So we're just kind of coming up to speed with that type of trend. It helps with safety and things like that. So we limit it, and it's for season pass holders. So that's a great perk for season pass holders. And there's a bunch of other perks too. You get free tickets to Calypso's Cove for a 2-hour unlimited wristband. You get a free pizza. So the cooler thing is people are getting used to it. You can bring a cooler, leave it in your car, go out to your car and have a picnic lunch, or that you can still go in and out of the park. So there are ways around it.
There's re-entry.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm going to take your side on this. Sorry, Joe. There is, I just trying to think of trying to walk into Disney with a cooler.
Yeah, but isn't that what really makes it stand apart from someplace like Disney? And now you're seeing, all these TikTok videos of people going to Disney and they're showing their receipts for $1,000 breakfast.
Well, and the
it just makes it's a big turnoff.
Yes, I understand, but I'm still with them on this.
Well, listen, I'm a capitalist. I get it. Right,
so, but I got to say, what I like is you're sticking with the, so much of the North Country and Old Forge and the Adirondacks and the Catskills lost its most of those places are gone, and Water Safari and Enchanted Forest. Water Safari is really what I think just saved Enchanted Forest, and I I think that staying with the cabana thing is an incredible idea.
Right.
I mean, people are so hot on those. And so many, they now ordering, you can have food brought right to you. I think staying current, there are also embracing the area, the water, and all the things that are going on up there in Old Forge. I think that's what has allowed Enchanted Forest to remain relevant, and that's big.
Yeah, and I hope it never
and
goes
unheard
away.
of.
It's such a great attraction for our area.
So that's my
I mean,
compliment for
we
it.
have a lot of affordable options in the park for purchase for food and beverage. So it's our ticket price isn't crazy. I mean, you can buy discounted tickets at a lot of venues across central New York. So there are ways to save for sure.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want people to know about, Katie?
Our Family Fun Center, Calypso's Cove, is open weekends right now. So, even if you're not going to Water Safari or you want to continue the fun in the afternoon and evening, Calypso's Cove is a great option, and they'll open full-time next Friday.
Is that the
day,
go-kart track there as well?
Yeah, go-karts, bumper boats, mini golf, and then our newest attraction is the ropes course with zip line, which is really cool.
And then one thing I wanted to mention too on the circus, the famous family that came from Enchanted Forest. What's the name?
The Walendas.
Yeah, I mean, the last I think I saw of them, they were. One of them was walking across two buildings in New York City. I mean, you're talking about one of the most famous.
Wasn't that the guy that crossed the falls too?
Yes,
Niagara Falls.
Yes, Niagara Falls.
Nick, I think he did something at the Canyon too. Nick Walenda.
Yes.
So he some of his first performances ever were at the Enchanted Forest years ago when he was a kid.
That's really incredible.
Pretty neat.
So, all right. Obviously, you can tell we're big fans, and we appreciate it, and wish you only the best weather this summer.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Katie.
Have
Take
a great
care.
day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. You went right there. I like that. You were like, coolers. You should become a member now. You're going to have to become a season ticket member.
Why not?
Yeah, you might as well do
Well,
it.
the kids are a little older, unfortunately. I miss those trips because they're older now. But someday with the grandkids.
The only thing I remember of Walenda crossing, I think it was the one he did in New York City. And, of course, I'm the person who's like, what do they have a net for? Why would they have a net? It ruins the whole thing, right?
For you, maybe.
I guess. But I think that's how, like, the grandfather maybe died. He fell doing the tightrope thing.
I think you're right.
But listening to him cross, it had to be something that it's nerve-wracking because it's thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, over and over and over again until he got to the other side.
It is. It's intense for somebody that's watching.
It is how my wife acts when we're driving down the thruway. We finally get to Buffalo. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Boy, got a break. We'll come back and speak with Ben at WIBX.
The 4th of July sale is on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 with the largest selection in central New York. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. Hurry.
We're the power and power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
At Kubota, we want to help you deliver a job done right. That's why we want you to know that new Kubota inventory is arriving daily. You have work to do. We have the reliable, durable, and versatile lineup to help you do it. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power and power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PICKUP to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PICKUP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PICKUP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Summer's here. Adventure is calling. Matt Naimi GMC of Boonville has the perfect ride for you. Whether you're heading out to the lake, setting up camp, or chasing sunsets, the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 is built for it all. And right now, everyone saves $2,500 on every in-stock 2024 Sierra 1500. Visit us today on Route 12 in Boonville or mattnaimigmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade. Customer may qualify for additional incentives. $2,500 offer valid on in-stock 2024 Sierra 1500 models. Must take new retail delivery by 6/30/25.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center. We're the members of IBEW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow by New Nordic. Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow. With its patented tocotrienol complex, Hair Grow naturally reduces inflammation in the scalp and is clinically proven to promote new hair growth and increase hair count in as little as 4 months. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Just mix a packet of Eucora with water and drink it when you need support, like right after intimacy. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
It happens more than you think. A customer wants, no needs the goods and services your business offers. No matter how hard they try, they can't find you, but they find your competitor right there at the top of the results page.
And even if they do find your website, when they click, it's like a ghost town.
Hello?
Outdated, not compelling, and perhaps worse, it has information that's not accurate.
Y2K?
But how do you fix that? At Town Square Interactive, we have the tools to help you maximize your online presence. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com and start by getting a free local customer analysis.
This online tool will show you just how many customers in your area you could be reaching. To get in front of those customers, we will build a premium website for your business.
One that shows up well in web searches and converts website clicks into phone calls, appointments, and foot traffic.
It's simple, it's fast, and it's affordable. Go to mylocalcustomers.com and get started by getting your free local customer analysis today.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Couple of portions of the program brought to you by Steve Ponte Mazda, the Move to Mazda sales event. Continuing, save on a Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, 50s, CX-70s, and 90s. See the dealership for details. Mazda finished 2024 with a 16.8% sales increase year over year and was awarded more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand. See Ricky Z and everybody at Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. And the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. If you're in need of a new family doctor, or you need a second opinion, or you're interested in that, it's almost like going to the chiropractor, but it lasts about 35 minutes. And everything is, you want everything flowing in your body properly, from your sinuses to everything. And that's what they do. They really work on your back and your neck and your shoulders, even on your head and your sinuses. You walk out of there feeling like $1 million. It is a completely essential procedure that I get every month at the Falcon Clinic. Call today, 315-507-4751. Somebody said the other day, what do you call that? And I said, I really don't know what I call it. And she said, well, I think we're going to do that. What do I say? And I just said, ask for the procedure that Keeler gets, and I think they'll know what it is. So there you go. In studio right now, Joe Malachi is. Anything you want to add, Joe, that you haven't yet this morning? Quickly.
No, just a reminder.
Today you're going to hit something, and you didn't hit it yet.
No, I mean, we've got the World Series obviously coming up, and
World Series of Bocce.
Yes,
Bocce.
It's a great community event. It's probably one of the, I think it's the second largest event that's held in Rome annually. We have 128 open division teams coming, another 50,
from all over,
50 plus women's teams coming from several states and Canada. Bocce's growing by leaps and bounds. We're not quite on ESPN yet, but we do have a Bocce network that's up and running now. We're seeing bigger cities adopting the sport as well. You've got Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland, all having big major tournaments every year.
I was surprised.
And it's really growing. So
from Brian Miller to see that the Italian members of the assembly do it down there.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that, and I'm
cool.
wondering where they play, because I don't know that there's any courts, because we don't normally get down to Albany for any tournaments. But I mean, hopefully in the future, that'd be great.
That's
cool.
Yeah,
so.
All right, that is coming up
July 17th through the 20th.
Okay.
And, we'll be there, obviously, on the 18th with you guys.
Broadcasting live from over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ben Simons, Farmer Ben. June is, see if I have it right. Do you know what today is? It is National Vanilla Milkshake Day.
There you go.
I don't think I've ever had a vanilla milkshake.
No?
I don't think so.
They're good.
No.
I'm sure they're good, but I always go for the chocolate.
My personal favorite is a chocolate milkshake with a banana added. Should try that.
So you mix it in?
Yep.
Okay.
When you go into Stewart's and you ask for a chocolate milkshake, say, would you please grind up a banana in there with that? And, I'll tell you what, that adds a little extra.
So I do it two different ways. One with peanut butter, and also with dark cherries.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so not together, but separately.
Right.
Both malted.
Nice.
So, yes,
I do it with vodka. It's so
that'll work, too. Absolutely.
I'm kidding. Okay. What do you – today is June is Dairy Month.
Yep, June is Dairy Month, and I know we mentioned it earlier, but there's been a lot of good things going on with the dairy industry here in Oneida County, which we talked about earlier with Chobani coming. That's going to be huge.
Where will they be sourcing their milk?
They're going to be getting it basically from all over the state of New York and a little bit out west, out there to Ohio, Michigan.
Is the capacity there for New York? Because it just seems like the volume.
There's becoming a void because all the dairy plants here in New York, that's a great question. All the milk plants here in New York are expanding, okay? And currently, right now, the milk supply isn't able to keep up with that expansion. So they're bringing milk in from the west and down in Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania, into this market area to be processed. Currently, right here in Oneida County, right now, there's about 18,000 cows, which translates into being about 20 tractor-trailer loads of milk a day, just in Oneida County.
Wow.
The new plant, when they get it up and running, they're predicting that thing's going to make it's going to need anywhere between 170 to 180 loads of milk a day, just when it gets fully in production, not to start with.
How amazing!
So the dairy's going to have to grow, and they will. The state of New York will grow.
How amazing that is when you think about if you're a farmer and you go to the bank and you say we're going to expand.
Yeah.
You have a built-in market that is
So you touched on it perfectly, Bill. The past few years, the last maybe 5 or 6 years since COVID, which is 3-4 years ago now, we're getting out there ways.
Yeah.
But a lot of milk was dumped. After COVID got done, when you went to your banker, your lending institution, and asked for money to build an expansion on your farm or buy a neighboring farm, the first thing them bankers wanted was a letter of commitment from your co-op or the milk company you're selling to that they would continue to buy that milk. That was happening. Now, that has all gone away.
Yeah.
The bankers now are, I don't want to say encouraging you to grow,
Well, they're
but
seeing
if you want to grow,
opportunity.
the bankers at your table saying, okay, what do we got to do to make this work?
Yeah, they see opportunity.
So that business has changed.
And you said it takes 1,000 cows to fill up just one
Correct.
tractor trailer.
The average tractor trailer you see going up and down the road, it says milk products on it, raw milk. It takes roughly 1,000 cows to fill that tractor trailer.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to?
I
know you brought in candy bars.
I did. So the reason I brought them in is everyone talks about June is Dairy Month, and the first thing everybody does is bring in a bottle of milk, as I did for you guys. But when your kids are at the store and they're at eye level with all the Hershey's and the M&Ms and everything, and everybody says, no, put that away. It's all sugar and all this and that. What's the first ingredient right on that cover, Bill? I gave one to you.
I believe the first ingredient is
milk.
Milk.
Yep, and the same with the almond for you, Joe. Says right on it, milk chocolate.
Yeah.
And so when you're buying even the candy bars, you are supporting the dairy industry.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing that's a bright spot is we can talk about all the different things, but
I got about 35 seconds.
Okay, I'm very, very excited with the Tourism Bureau here in Oneida County with Sarah Foster.
She's
and
doing
that
a great
tourism.
job. Yeah.
She's doing a bang-up job. And if you get a hold of the booklet, the new book, they're everywhere. It's highlights tourism. Then there's another book that's accompanying it called Agritourism that's highlighting all the agricultural businesses, the wineries, the dairy products, and everything else in Oneida County. So June is Dairy Month, and then we're looking forward to getting here in July and talking about ice cream. The Boonville Oneida County Fair. Carl Trainer is just waiting to get in here and see you.
I don't want to see Carl because it means the summer is winding down.
That is correct. And we have not had much of a summer. This morning, Bill, on Star Hill, 56 degrees.
I know, it's crazy. After yesterday.
Unbelievable.
And what we're expecting this weekend.
Yep.
The extremes are crazy. All right, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
I do want to do one clarification quickly, and this comes from Mohawk Valley Edge this morning. We just received it. It's Joe earlier wanted me to ask Tony Pacini in regards to what will Semicron Danfoss, what will go into that building. And I said, I don't believe the building is. They're not exiting. I think they're winding down production for the year. And he said, I'm hearing that they're closing. Very interesting that, Joe, you said that, because I now have a statement from Mohawk Valley Edge saying Mohawk Valley Edge wishes to clarify the speculation. To date, Semicron Danfoss has not made any decision to close its Utica facility, nor has the company communicated any such plans to employees or local officials. No closure has been announced or confirmed. So that's what we have right now on that.
And if anybody has a question for a job, sit back. Chobani's coming.
It's coming. You're an experienced installer. You're looking for a job. New York Sash has you covered. They're now hiring experienced professionals to lead their crews in window, siding, and bath installations. You can earn $30 to $40 an hour. You can sign up on their website for an interview, newyorksash.com/jobs, or stop by 349 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the heat. We're back Monday morning.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts, or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
Quiet down, here she comes.
Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at Progressive Commercial.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
Iran is ready to talk. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what an official tells Reuters, that they are willing to discuss limitations on uranium enrichment. President Trump keeps insisting they give it up, saying he won't allow Iran to build nuclear weapons.
And he is this afternoon going to be sitting down, meeting with his National Security Council, as he will continue to do so throughout the weekend. This is as this timeline has been set, this 2 weeks for Iran to opt for a diplomatic route, an off-ramp out of this whole thing.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the White House. That conflict is a week old now.
The Israeli military says their fighter jets are back in the air right now over central and western Iran, striking targets.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv.
The head of the International Atomic Agency spoke exclusively to Fox News. He said Iran had enough uranium for several bombs and was just a quick step away from enriching to weapons grade. However, he says Iran had not begun the final steps to make a bomb.
Iran launched more missiles at Israel, and one got through the Iron Dome defense and did damage, but no one was hurt. Hundreds of Americans who were stuck in Israel have gotten out, and they won't miss the missiles.
It'd be like at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, and you just have to go straight to the bomb shelters.